looked like he could.
But it was going towards a hangar though. There was a hangar at the end.
There was, but I think it almost looked like he could fly through and keep going like on the outside, the other half of the ship.
I don't know.
But I get what you mean because the angle changed completely.
I could see it be him. They like misordered it, and so it's him locking in on where like the command center is inside the ship, and then he goes in and flies into the hangar, and then fucks up a whole bunch of people with his lightsaber, and then either kills his mom.
He just
and
like
then either kills his
effortlessly
mom or
takes her
doesn't
out.
kill his mom.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I think that one's definitely misdirect for sure.
I kind of hope it doesn't happen like that. I feel like Kylo killed his dad in the last movie, and if he just killed his mom in this movie, it'd be kind of...
What about the theory where...
Do you feel like they're kind of stuck in a situation though with her not being around though?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, she's certainly... They're going to end her story in this movie for sure.
Yeah.
I just feel like the impact for me would be lessened because I already saw that scene, essentially, in the last movie. And yes, it's different because... You know, she has since passed away in real life as well, so there is much more dramatic. It's her last movie, right? So there's more to it, but for me, in terms of like Star Wars and like a character moment, I don't know. I feel like if that's his big emotional scene, like it was in Force Awakens, then I would be disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, if they do that, maybe if they make that like somewhere in like the first half, and then he has a bigger journey that keeps going. Sure, it could work, but I really hope that isn't something that's like his biggest moment, which you would say is in Force Awakens his biggest moment. At least that's what I would say his biggest moment.
100%.
Yeah.
There's nothing tops killing your dad, you know.
Especially if he's Harrison Ford.
Yeah. I think it will be his biggest moment, but I think it'll be his biggest moment by choosing not to do it. And I think Snoke might be the one to take Leia out, and that might make him go, oh, like... I'm not a fan of Snoke right now. He killed my mom, even though it's a little hypocritical because he killed your dad. But in Star Wars, everyone's a hypocrite, you know.
Yeah, that could really go forward with that, I guess, character point that Kylo is just like really confused.
Yeah.
In many ways.
So. Well, we see that a lot. He busts open his own helmet and everything like that. Like
he's nuts, man.
Well, I mean, even
crazy.
just that shot at the beginning of the trailer and him just looking at everything. Like you don't see his face many times, but I just get the vibe that he's still even more. Because I thought when him killing Han was going to be the full on. He's evil. To me, he looks even more conflicted than Force Awakens. Of like, I don't know if I should be doing this anymore, you know. So I think it maybe had the reverse effect of like it's making him turn to the light side, like he's regretting it. So I'm interested to see that plays out. My prediction is he dies in this movie. I don't want him to, but I feel like he's gonna. Yeah, I just because he's in so much of this trailer. I just feel like they're gonna with all the characters they have. I could see him having like a last film arc. And I really don't want that. I want him to survive the trilogy. So.
I think out of everything in that scene, I think that's the only part of the trailer that isn't a misdirection. I feel like it's definitely like actually happening. What's going on? Him being in that position with Leia.
Oh, I could not disagree so much. How come if they're in mid battle, all the people behind Leia aren't freaking out? They're literally just like, oh, like some guys just like reading through stuff.
Like I don't like. There's more scenes there that we didn't get to see at the end of the day.
Oh, so your degree thing is 100%, but my theory, you don't even talk about the people in the back.
Your theory is definitely spot on. I'm not going to argue with that, but at the same time, I feel like out of everything out of everything in that scene, like it's not a misdirect. I feel like the two of them will share that kind of confrontation in that situation.
Okay. What are your remaining notes here?
When Luke is knocked on his back and it's pouring rain, do you feel like he's talking to Rey like they're implying, or it's like a flashback scene where he's talking to the Knights of Ren when they're in the pouring rain?
I think he's talking to Rey.
Yeah?
I don't remember what he said. So.
It's like, this is not going to end the way you think. And I feel like he probably could have been talking to Kylo Ren.
Sounds like he's talking to a bad guy, so maybe bad Rey.
I feel like he's talking to Rey because Rey's like, I'm going to go stop Snoke. And he's like, this isn't going to go the way you think. Because when he did that with Vader, got his arm chopped off, Han Solo got frozen. So like it didn't really go well the first time for Luke when he didn't have any training, right? So that's why I think he's talking to Rey.
Yeah,
like,
I think
don't do this.
it's Rey thinking she's ready to go and take him on, and then it's not ready.
Okay.
It's not ready.
He doesn't know.
Luke's saying he's seen more power before. Do you feel like he's referring to Kylo? Because I feel like that's again too obvious when they showed it. I feel like maybe he could be referring to Darth Vader.
Sorry?
He says, "I saw this power." Raw power once before and didn't scare me then. It scares me now. I feel like he could have been referring to like Vader or the.
Oh, Grandma Shmi.
I feel he could be talking about.
Oh no!
Oh.
I meant it like her heart. Her heart.
Travis.
He could be talking. I imagine he's probably talking about Vader.
Yeah.
Just because if Rey's supposed to be that powerful, but it could easily be Kylo. I don't think it'll be Kylo because I think that's gonna be the theme that everyone's talking about, this like great powerful Jedis, and like no one's mentioning Kylo, and he's saying like
they're implying it, but they mean Rey, they mean Vader.
And I think that'll be part of his arc of like, I'm just as good, I can be just as good, like, and then he'll go apeshit or die.
He'll smash another control room.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about Finn and Phasma fighting?
Look good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see more Phasma.
Phasma's gonna die, 100%.
You think so?
I think so. One of them's gonna die in that fight, and it's not gonna be Finn.
Phasma's a pretty shitty character at this point, but I didn't make her better in this one, so.
And then
I
she'll
hope
die.
so.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
You mentioned earlier about Kylo Ren dying. I don't know. I can't really see that happening. I mean, they showcased him on this trailer, but I feel like that was because they didn't get to.
That's why I feel like
season.
it could happen. Who did they showcase a lot for The Force Awakens? Harrison Ford. He's the one
That's
that.
because everyone's hyped to see
Yeah,
it.
True, but
even
like,
then,
it
he
still
didn't have-
happened.
He didn't have that many
Yeah.
scenes, though. I mean, it was just
But
like.
I don't
What did I
know.
say? Did I
It's
say
the
it in
same
the
thing with
scenes?
Kylo.
I said he died.
Yeah, he died, but you said because they showcased him in the Force Awakens.
In the trailer, yeah, in the trailers.
Yeah.
Lots
They
of, he was
showcased
heavy on the marketing because they know, hey, we're not gonna get to use Harrison Ford when The Last Jedi rolls around, so let's put him on every poster, every teaser. The Chewie we're home moment was the biggest thing they used, and it was on every TV spot. That was the moment everyone was talking about. That's why I feel like the same thing, Kylo. Like, let's use him as much as we can, and then he's gonna die.
I mean,
That's my theory.
And it's a good theory. Like, it's like he
He's
could
spot
die. Rey could replace him. That could totally happen because it's all speculation. But at the same time, I feel like they're still trying to introduce these new characters as the next generation and not have, because that's why they kept Luke on the back burner for the most part with Episode 7. They didn't want, like, when they incorporated him, there was legitimately no possible way that they could come up with where everyone's just going to be wanting more Luke and they're going to put the other characters aside. And I feel like they're still trying to work with that in this sense. So I feel like killing off Kylo, a new character, this quick would be a little short.
For me, he's the villain, so villains are more disposable. Vader didn't make it the original trilogy. Maul, 1 movie. Count Dooku, 2 movies. General Grievous, 1 movie. The villains.
Well, those were the Lucas days, though.
True, and that's true. And I want Kylo to survive. To me, he's actually turning out to be the most like interesting Star Wars character from start to finish so far. But I just see him going. I just have as they say in Star Wars, a bad feeling about this. I just not getting good vibes on his survival rate.
Okay. Now the scene where right leading up to Snoke force choking or pulling or doing something to Rey. He says fulfill your destiny. So that was a line straight out of like Palpatine's handbook. Darth Sidious's.
It was. They're evil dudes.
So how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like they share something?
To be a bad guy, you have to read the handbook.
Yeah, and
and
everyone has a destiny, you know.
it was on the test. That's why you remembered that line so well.
What do you guys
Destiny
think?
or
I don't
deserve.
know. I think it's a fairly common line, as I think we've all sort of stated. I don't think there's a whole lot to read into. It's just
Yeah.
him trying to. I think it's just Snoke trying to turn Rey bad.
And even good guys talk about destiny
Yeah.
and the chosen one. And like the
Yeah.
Force is always it's like destined to be something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about Snoke yet, so I don't really have much of an opinion.
How do you-
Hopefully after this movie I will.
How do you guys feel about that? Because Snoke's not getting much attention in this movie.
I think but that's on
'Cause I thought it was
purpose.
Episode 9.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
but-
more attention than last movies.
Yeah. He was
I mean,
in
yeah.
trailers.
In the first movie, he was a big mystery, and hopefully this one, at least I can know his character a bit more. Because I've seen Force Awakens like 3 times now. I don't know anything about Snoke.
Yeah. We're not supposed to,
I just
granted.
know he
Right?
was a big hologram dude, and then he wasn't.
Yeah.
That's the extent.
And
I've
that's
seen the meme where he looks like an avocado. That's about as far as it goes.
well, and that's the thing that people like so far. Everyone's one of their big worries that it will be exactly like Empire. Emperor was not that much. He had 1 scene in Empire and it was just a hologram. So you're actually going to see Snoke. The whole like Rey turning possibly dark. That wasn't really tackled to me in like originals with Luke. Like it was like last minute. Vader's like, "Hey, you should be a bad guy." Like that wasn't something he was struggling with. And the prequels, they went for that with Anakin, but to me, it never worked. From 1 second, he's
Luke,
good.
You should be a bad guy. Like, what if he did this too? Like the little scales.
It would make billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But no, and then Anakin was supposed to be that, but it was done really poorly. So he would just be like super nice and then be like, "I hate sand people," and he's like talk like that's where that's the thing with her. You're actually seeing this progression of like, they never used it that much in marketing. That's the same thing with Kylo. So already so far, I'm seeing signs that this is not going to be an Empire clone. So unless Rey ends the movie with her hand getting cut off, then it's like, well, Fuck. I don't know what's
You know,
more
like
like
Kylo reaches out his hand, Ray reaches out her
That's
hand,
what I
and then
said.
Kylo just chops it off.
I'm your father, the whole deal.
Oh,
yikes.
That would be something.
So another thing here.
Kylo's
they
looking
showcase-
good for 50.
The movie posters for Star Wars. Hear me out. The movie posters, they always state like they always got the villains at the back, and it makes sense. And with Luke at the back of this one, like how do you feel about that being a
I
possible?
think that's a
theory?
misdirect. I think
Misdirect.
Mark Hamill's the biggest. This is the biggest event because Luke Skywalker's back. I think that's why he's the biggest.
But if at the same time, like if he doesn't want to train Rey as a
What if
Jedi,
he-
That doesn't make him a
or-
bad guy.
No, but it could make him change his perspective, or.
But that doesn't make him a bad guy.
I think
You
it's
said all
more.
bad
I
guys.
think it's more. He sees the world in like a dark way, and he sees that the world is,
Yeah.
not going the way it probably should be, and he's angry. I think that's what it
Yeah.
means. He's very angry.
Okay, and
That's
this one
fearful.
is a fun fact for you guys. Now you remember when Luke got his hand shot? Jabba's pal or
Explain it
Jabba's
for the people
sailbarge?
who are just listening
Okay,
to the podcast.
well there's a picture now when Luke is holding his lightsaber up with Jabba's
Yeah,
says.
it's
from
a
the trailer.
PowerPoint. It's a
Here we go.
PowerPoint presentation for the
Fans
podcast.
gotta hear this.
Is
So
this from the
curious, I'm
trailer
very
or is
interested.
this?
This is from the trailer. So
Okay.
Luke is holding his hand up in episode 6, and he gets shot in his metal hand, right? And then when Rey is handing the lightsaber, you can see
What can you see?
Oh,
the damage
yeah.
from the shot.
The viewers can't.
Cool.
listeners can't
That's
see that.
interesting because I suspect they could fix that pretty easily with their
They could.
technology.
I just, I really enjoy the attention to detail.
Dents
but
are hard to
okay.
fix.
why Luke didn't get it fixed for 30 years is still a little like.
Because it makes it
mysterious.
personal.
It costs a lot of money
You know-
when you don't have insurance. The Jedi are really cheap. They don't give out
This is the new generation of
dental
Jedi.
and everything like that, you know?
You know those like when you go to like a certain class or something and they ask you to like put your phone in a bin. Imagine if he had to go to some seminar and they all put their lightsabers in a bin. Now he would know. He wouldn't get it mixed up. He's like, yeah, mine has the dent in it. That's mine. I don't
But it's
know.
not
This
the
is his hand,
lightsaber,
though.
yeah, it's his hand.
Because his hand, his
Oh,
metal
yeah.
hand. got
Same
shot.
analogy, but instead of lightsaber, you just have to take off
I'm
your
here. I saw the
prosthetic
picture. I
hand.
still don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't think
Is that
this
it for
adds
animals?
anything to the discussion.
No, I just
No,
thought
it
it was.
doesn't have.
It was just.
Something you
a-
could have told us off
I'm
It
camera.
was-
very interested.
It was
though.
literally just to boast the
It's
fact
good to
that Disney is just their attention to detail and how much effort and like and just like the attention they're putting into this is just phenomenal, and it just has me so much more excited to see this movie.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about porgs, by the way?
Porgs.
That's
That,
a
like,
fair enough
little,
question.
The little bat cat creature
Yeah,
thing with
it's
the
like,
ears.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you just pronounced
wonderful.
porridge.
I want one of those as a pet.
Porridge. You want one as a pet?
Yeah, unless they're like child eating.
It reminds me of
that grow 10
the
times
Nibbler.
in size and.
the Nibbler guy from Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, and that was the best part
Oh,
of
I
the
thought
movie.
you just
so.
meant nibbler.
Not quite. Nibbler
Okay.
isn't that high quality.
No,
He's
no sir.
more 2D.
All right.
Anyway.
Anything else on that?
I think that's it.
Well, let's get to maybe the second most anticipated movie of the fall, Justice League.
Well, we're just going downhill. We're leaving the interesting. We're getting the interesting stuff first, eh? Is that?
Wow, shots
Justice
I'm
fired.
League
saying.
downhill.
Justice
That's
League.
not what I said. But
Justice League final trailer's come out. It's coming out November 17th. Mr. Muss, if you want to start.
Oh, they have another trailer.
No, this
Yeah,
was the final
we
trailer.
watched it.
Oh, I thought you said final trailer's coming November 17th.
Yeah,
I'm very confused.
This
Trailer's
is like
coming
the
before
This is like
we
the
watched it.
600th trailer, so.
let's see. I think it. I don't know. It was alright. I guess I'm not looking forward to them just like fighting a bunch of CGI demon guys in a hell looking place. Like it could be fun. It could be cool. Like we actually haven't seen that in a bit in like in the superhero movies that have been coming out since like I don't know what Avengers 2 or something is probably the last time we saw just like a whole bunch of an onslaught of a bunch of like faceless.
Well, Suicide Squad, remember with the Pooh Monsters?
Oh yeah, the Pooh Monsters.
Yeah.
I forgot about them. They're so good. So yeah, I mean, I'm just not excited for that really.
Mhm.
And I mean, I could get proven wrong. There could be more. I think this trailer is kind of highlighting that Lois Lane is going to have a bigger role in it. Whether or not she's even connected with the other people in the movie, she's just going to have some sort of backstory. And I mean, I like the actress enough, so that could be cool. And I mean, it was pretty obvious that the Superman thing was just misdirect. But I guess what was the other thing? Yeah, still not a fan of Flash and the
Really?
humor aspect of it. That
I
joke.
love that bat
That
singing
joke at the
joke.
end did not land for me
Oh,
at all, and
man.
I feel like I'm gonna be cringing through every line he has this movie.
That's a good
unfortunately.
line. Like, that's just. Oh, that's
See,
just-
but I
love
don't know
that.
if it's the line or the delivery or both. But I'm not excited for that character,
Oh.
and I don't really have any previous ties with that character. So this is gonna be like my first like Flash in a TV show or movie or
Yeah.
anything really. So. And what else? I guess Cyborg. This is the first time we really see him have more going on. Really, like we see him flying around. He has a bunch of cool lights. He's like a flying disco ball. So that's cool, I guess. I mean, maybe he'll end up being more interesting than I think he is going to be currently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as a trailer, I guess the trailer, is a solid trailer in terms of pacing and whatnot, but I'm just maybe not a fan of the direction the movie is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it could work. It makes sense as like a first team up for DC, I guess Suicide Squad, I'm going to discount that. The first like team up for the good guys. But I mean, we already kind of saw this in Avengers and Avengers 2 and stuff like that. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Ty, how do you feel? Because I thought even the group chat you said pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. One thing that I really want them to do is play out that innocence factor for Flash, because he's still a kid. Obviously he says in the other trailer, all I do is just I run really fast and I punch people and I run away.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested to see how they play him dealing with like everything on such a grander life or death scale, because it seems like he's just kind of dealt with common crooks and not really
common
big
crooks.
bad guys. So I really hope they play that off well and really like how and like what they kind of like what Spider-Man is, how like really hitting home with how all your actions have consequences and you have to be responsible for all this stuff with all this power you have. And I feel like there was a little bit lacking with Homecoming, I guess, in a way. So I really hope they do that well. I think that could be a huge plus for the movie. And as for like the jokes and like all his kind of like one-liners, it seems like he's gonna be the only one really throwing out a lot of those ones trying to make light of the situation, I guess, in a way. And so I hope those have their place and they fit well, because it kind of shows how he doesn't have that solemn and grim look on the world that the rest of them might have. So I'm very interested to see how that plays out. As you said, with all the CGI, I really hope that's just kind of like a big final thing, or like I hope it isn't like a huge part of the movie. It seems like there's gonna be a lot of it. The trailers make it seem like there's gonna be a lot of CGI fighting.
Yeah.
Which
CGI fights.
it's not awful, but if it just goes on and on and on, like I don't want to look at CGI for like 30 minutes to an hour straight. I want there to be like bits and parts of it like inserted every once in a while in the film, but I don't want it to just be like a constant dredge through all this CGI. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but overall it looks really good. I like the trailer. Music was good, and it got me more hyped for it, so I'm excited.
That's what a trailer's supposed to do.
I didn't even really pay attention to like the environment they were fighting in until you mentioned like this weird hell kind of thing. It reminded me of like the Stranger Things kind of place, to be honest. Like it had that kind of
upside down.
Yeah.
Upside down, yeah.
You should go back, and there's comparisons of the city from this to the first trailer. Looks completely different. Like the city's blue. It doesn't have the stuff coming out of the building, so it's 100% like completely done
So
over.
they just like redid it.
Pretty much. Well, they just added CGI shit around and like changed the hue of it. But like, yeah, it's interesting to see how much has changed from last year to this year. Yeah.
I know. I'll do that.
Yeah, I thought the trailer was awesome. I love Flash in it. I loved how it focused more on them and less Wonder Woman this time around.
I hate her.
Well, I don't hate her. It was too much Wonder Woman 2.0 last time. This time it's just it's nice to see like the other characters. It was.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg, and
whoever else. Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh,
Just forgot the big guy, Batman.
Batman? Well, Batman's been kind of like chilling throughout all the trailers.
We know never get enough Batman.
We know he's there. We've seen him in Suicide Squad. We saw him in all these movies, so we know he's there. But no, I'm liking Aquaman a lot. I think they're doing a great job at taking that Aquaman from like the stereotypical Family Guy sense and like turning into an actual badass.
Stereotypical Family Guy sense.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Aquaman's a pretty nice guy.
If you come over here in the water, then
He's very good looking.
Then you'll be sorry.
I don't watch Family Guy.
Oh, it's some
The
great.
joke kind of has to land if people watched
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You should have told me that before.
But I feel like I just feel like the way you said that is just like everyone thinks of Aquaman as just this jokester from Family Guy. But
I was just Family Guy.
I thought like as a family man.
A lot of like there's a lot of jokes.
Family.
yeah,
Um,
Family Guy is
But I mean, like this, he's literally like he's a badass outside of water, which is something I've always wanted to see.
Sure.
So.
The long flowing hair.
I mean, he's probably swam for centuries straight.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is transfer that to the air.
Transfer that to the air.
Easy.
Well, I like how like his personality is so like upbeat. Like when Cyborg grabs him. He's like, "My man!" And then he lands in the Batmobile. He's like,
Best quote
"Yeah!"
of all time.
Yeah.
And he's got like that hair action. Like it's just fantastic.
What action?
The hair action.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
What
you
the-
tried
I mean,
your
it might be a
best.
little bit man service, but I won't complain.
Yeah, those two
I
can team up
I
and be
enjoy
buds
it.
throughout this movie.
It does feel like a little bro-y of a movie.
Robot and Waterman.
Yeah. I don't have
You
too
would think they wouldn't go together that well.
They do wonderfully.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say on it. I liked it enough. I think it's a good reminder of like, hey, tickets are on sale soon. This movie's coming. I think that's what it kind of feels like.
Sure, yeah.
I was, for the first time in my life, I'm actually the most interested to see what they do with Superman in the movie, because that's the trailer part I liked the most, was the actual beginning. I was like, oh, I'm liking this dream sequence. Where are we going with this? And then the rest of the trailer is just kind of CGI action, which the first time I watched when we did our reaction, I was like, okay, this was good. I've like liked it less and less when I've seen it. And you can go back, I really liked the last two trailers. I thought they were more epic and they set the stage. I guess the thing I can compare this as far as the positives was, I remember the last few Wonder Woman trailers were a lot like this, where the first one was really good for me. And then after that, it was like a lot of action, a lot of the same shot. So, and then I ended up loving Wonder Woman. So I hope that's going to be similar to that, because I remember the last trailer, I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I'm not digging it. And then it blew me away. So I'm kind of hoping Justice League is the same. And the other thing where I'll say, which is on like the other positive note I can give it, is if it's not just all this battle, because we haven't not actually seen the film's face. And like obviously they haven't really talked about his motives. We know he's after the mother boxes. We haven't seen how Superman returns, which is a big thing I thought we would get to see beforehand. We didn't, so that's a good thing. So in that like aspect, it kind of is a little better for me than the Last Jedi thing. As far as Last Jedi, I know there's certain scenes I'm waiting for now, like Rey getting choked and the Luke and Rey scenes and that, like yeah, Rey getting choked, but. Like, there is certain story beats now that I have an idea. I still like the trailer of Last Jedi overall better, because that got me more excited, because I think that's the downturn for Justice League, is it didn't leave me like, I can't wait to see this. Where Last Jedi left me, I can't wait to see this. Logan did that. Punisher trailer a couple weeks ago. Justice League was like, oh, that's fine. Mm-hmm. I like, though, that they didn't show too much. And we still don't really know the whole story. And that's, I guess, the biggest positive I can say, is that I hope we have that. So... Are you guys all kind of in the same camp? Is there anyone that's the opposing opinion that Justice League was a better trailer? Or that you enjoyed it more?
No.
No.
Definitely not.
Oh, definitely not.
No, Star Wars has it.
But then you fell asleep.
Justice League is like...
With his eyes open.
One
Justice
thing
League's down.
I thought was weird, I don't know if I just didn't notice it before, but like Batman looked like he was wearing these little glasses in this
He
trailer.
does. That's his...
It looked really
tech suit.
bad, I thought.
I don't like the
I actually liked his like big, is that what it's called? And what he had in GeekVerse?
Well,
What did he
that
have
was
in
the
the
metal
best?
one?
The big armor one.
Superman
Yeah, that's just
suit.
like a big armored Batman.
I
That's
like
not
that.
this one. Yeah.
I like that, but I was not a fan of the weird glasses he had going on.
I think they're just for driving.
He wore them in BVS as well.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, when he was in that post-apocalyptic state, he was wearing those shades.
Oh,
Those
were different.
glasses.
No, those were
Apocalypse Batman glasses.
Yeah, and those were like goggles. These are like tech glasses, because he has a whole
Yeah.
tech suit.
Maybe they're tech goggles.
What? Maybe, but they're not the
They're
same
not the
as
same
Mad Max
though. They're
Batman.
still different.
You know who doesn't need goggles is Aquaman.
You're
But
right.
yeah, I was just not a fan of the glasses at all.
Well, you know who doesn't probably need goggles? Some of these mutants that we're about to talk about. Fox has released a first trailer for, I'd say, somewhat anticipated New Mutants, but it's a very much from lesser title in the X-Men universe. Who wants to start? This is the first trailer for Fox's newest franchise concerning X-Men, I guess.
Well, I've started with all of them, but I'll start with this one because I thought it was a really good trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this because it's something different in this genre, and I think I think there is. I don't think we're getting to the point of fatigue yet, but I think there's a lot of similarities and a lot of like similar movie structures that have been coming up. So I think this is. I'm really excited to see what they do with this and if it ends up being good, because I don't know, it's just such a different take on the genre, and I like that Fox has kind of. I mean, I don't know how much all of the Fox stuff is involved with each other, but I like how they went on a limb with Deadpool and it worked, and then they kind of did that again with Logan and it worked really well, and now they're going off and doing this. While it doesn't fall into like the current X-Men state of things, and that still is maybe a bit in shambles, and Apocalypse wasn't so great, and all this, I don't know. I think it doesn't that doesn't matter as much if they also have like a bunch of kick-ass movies coming out on the side, and obviously Deadpool 2 comes out probably next year, right?
Yeah, next summer.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty excited for this, and obviously I think the use of Pink Floyd in this is really really well done. Like just the distorted tone to it is something I've never heard before, which is cool because I've heard that song a million times. And I think this trailer, there's a couple scenes. So that scene with the actor from Stranger Things.
Yeah, he's like Cannonball in this.
Cannonball?
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's like walking up to that laundry machine, like put his hand on it, and in the background is like the classic like brick wall, like Pink Floyd thing. And then the scenes with like those faces like coming out of the wall, that is also ripped right out of the wall of the movie, like the in the animated sections, and it's also in like the artwork for the album. So
also,
I don't know if all those...
Nightmare on Elm Street as well. Freddy comes to the walls like that as well.
Yeah, so I don't know if those all those like little Pink Floyd things were also planned or something, but I'm sure that they thought about those as well.
I think they were. If I would have thought you could be theorizing because they used that song for the trailer.
Yeah,
that's why I think the director's probably.
Oh, it's 100. I mean, if it wasn't the song, I probably wouldn't have noticed them either. But those are all things specifically from the wall, obviously. So, yeah, I thought I'm a big fan of that album. Obviously, it's one of the greatest human creations of all time. So
I thought that song till I was about 10 was Alice Cooper.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was like, Alice Cooper.
I know. It's funny because that song is nothing like the rest of the album.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the song they made to like, okay, we gotta
get the hits, get the Billboard Top 100.
It's time for disco. We gotta have a disco song out there. So, but they always do it sarcastically, which I love. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was a great trailer.
Not as much in-depth analysis into the music as Dylan does over here, but I thought it was a wonderful trailer. I really did enjoy the choice of the song as well, and just the fact that they're, again, doing all these spin-off X-Men movies is great, because I think it's much more enjoyable than just a straight X-Men sort of series. And I think...
Which a lot of people seem a little tired on right now, to be honest. Like, that seems to be one of the franchise that people are like, X-Men, I can kind of take it or leave it.
Mostly leave it.
But yeah, no, I really like how they're doing this horror aspect, and I'm very curious to see where they go with it, and if they actually incorporate paranormal things, or if it's just other mutants kind of screwing with them.
There is kind of a mutant, I've talked about him before, the Demon Bear. He's kind of a cross of like a mutant and like paranormal actor stuff. He feeds off of fear, and so it's kind of like, I think they're gonna tip that scale, like you don't really know what's mutant and what's psychological and what's supernatural. So
I'm really excited. Overall, it's just a very spooky trailer. It seems more like just scary rather than unsettling sort of take on horror, which I'm fine with. But
a bit more jump scares.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm still really excited for it, and the cast looks great. Lots of it just looks overall really good. I'm super excited to see the Stranger Things guy again.
Stranger Things guy.
Great.
That's his actual name.
Yes.
He usually
Stranger Things guy.
Or his parents were just visions of the future.
Didn't like it.
I had a feeling. Taylor already has a hate on for X-Men already.
I'm not big for X-Men. Like the Logan trailers never really got me hyped to begin with. Like
clearly you didn't watch the movie for like a year and a half.
So he had to slip it in my Spider-Man 3 DVD case. I didn't even know it was there.
So Taylor went to watch Spider-Man 3 out of fucking nowhere. I don't even know he was watching Logan.
Yeah.
Peter Parker's aged.
I think was it a good trailer? Yes, it was. I think I'm not gonna lie. I would give the credit where it's due. It's a good trailer. I think that it's a cool new concept and a cool new twist to what they're doing. And right off their victories of Deadpool and Logan, sure, why not? It's a cool new take. But for me personally, it just didn't interest me. For the fans, if you convince me, I'll go and see it.
That's a lie. You didn't see Logan. You didn't see Deadpool for the review.
Really?
You didn't see Apocalypse.
Big hater.
You've not seen anything X-Men, so don't even listen.
It's just kind of like a trend. It's a trend with Fox movies, I'd say.
Oh yeah. You're a big fucking Alien Covenant fan.
They made some good movies recently.
Well, it's Alien Covenant.
Yeah, but you said Fox movies. You didn't say Fox movies. You just threw the whole studio of
Got
Fox
me there.
under the car.
Cover's blown.
Yeah, so with this trailer, I've always said this. I've never been in too much into New Mutants. I've read a couple of runs to know enough, but I think it does look really different. I did hear someone they texted to me, said that it felt really generic, the trailer, which I could kind of agree with, but I think it's not generic in the superhero world, right? That's the thing where it's like, if this was just a horror movie, then I would kind of get that. Yeah. But they've never done anything like this before. Yeah. Like the closest maybe was Blade in the 90s, and he fought vampires, but that was as closest to like a horror aspect that we got. I love when you're talking about the candle scene. That same scene when he's walking around, it's like the washer or the dryer, whatever it is, and the guy puts his hand on there. I think it's Firestar or something like that. He puts his hand there, it bursts into flames. I like that they're using their powers as almost like scare or is it scare jumps? Is that
jump scares?
Jump scares, yeah. Scare jumps. Yeah, I love that the fact
there is a technique in Melee called the scar jumps. That's probably what you're thinking.
Oh, of course. Yeah, all those videos I watch. Yeah, I like that they're using certain powers to make these people seem like they're horror objects. You know, like these are something like you could see a Freddy or Michael Myers do, but these are kids learning their powers. And I love the dialogue of the doctor saying like, oh, you know, snakes or what vipers are the most dangerous when they're young because they don't know how to control their venom and everything. And that is pretty much, that line right there told me everything I need to know about this movie, that these kids are locked in an asylum and they don't know their powers and they're seeing a bunch of stuff, which I imagine they probably think is supernatural or horror aspects, but it's just kids with mutant powers, you know? So everything visually looked really cool. I've never seen this guy's work. His name's Josh Boone. He did, what's that movie, Taylor, where the girl has cancer and the guy has cancer and they're in love and one of them dies?
Fault in Our Stars.
Fault in Our Stars, thank you, I knew you knew it. So that's the only thing I've heard him do, and I've heard like good stuff about it. It's not my type of movie, but
Taylor's a genius!
Yeah,
he's a film god!
One time he's useful. But the cast is great.
Wow.
Stranger Things guy, I'm a big fan of him in that show. I just rewatched the season. Anna Taylor-Joy, who I was really pissed when she got cast in this, because for a superhero draft, I was gonna pick her, and then I picked her right. They drafted her. She's playing Magic, which is really cool. And then I don't know, Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. Yep. She's playing Wolfsbane, and power she can turn into a fucking wolf. So this movie is gonna be really cool. There's lots of fun Easter eggs in it. I think it's gonna be good. I wonder though how it's going to do financially, because Deadpool was a risk and worked out. Logan was a risk and worked out. So really, they're batting like 100. They haven't said, but I think this is going to be rated R.
Yeah,
I think
hope so.
it looks rated R.
I could see,
it could be a
honestly,
high
I could see
13.
if they make it rated R and they kind of like advertise it a bit better with that, I
Mhm.
think it could increase sales, honestly, just because of the hype from Deadpool and Logan being rated R.
Yeah.
I
So.
think
there's a
I think the flip to that though is obviously when you have an R-rated movie, you're already shrinking a bunch of your audience.
Yeah.
But then Deadpool and Logan both had really good marketing as well, so obviously you can assume they'll do it for this one. But Deadpool's different because I don't know, Ryan Reynolds, like I think the way he marketed the movie
It's more
as like
accessible
as a
to
human
everybody.
being did it really well. And then obviously Logan, it's like, oh, it's his last time as
And so many people
Wolverine.
grew up with Wolverine.
Yeah.
So
But this doesn't have that gimmick.
it doesn't.
Yeah,
no,
I
it's
guess
it's,
so.
it's in the title. It's new, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think it could be. I honestly think it could be PG-13. I think they'll push it as much as they can, but they'll relax on the F-bombs, everything like that. There won't be any nudity, so like the only thing that would be an R is probably like the violence, and I don't think they're gonna do that because there's a lot like that Happy Death Day that's coming out this week is like PG-13. I don't know how scary that is, but I think they'll push it just enough. But I think they won't do the radar because those reasons you guys brought up. That's good because it doesn't have the same markability as the other two. And I'm gonna quickly look up. I think I don't know when it comes out actually. I'll look because that's another interesting. I don't know what month it comes out in, but if it came out in like early 2017 in like a February or January or 20. What did I say?
2017.
Oh wow!
It's
Yeah.
today,
Let's hope it comes out 2017. It comes out in April 13th. I don't love that date. I have to see what else is out, but April's not a terrible month. But yeah. Anything else to add on New Mutants or anything like that?
I think not.
Taylor, how do you think this movie's gonna do? You didn't pipe out. How do you think it's gonna do financially?
Someone who isn't interested in the trailer.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think it's gonna do as well as like Logan or anything like that.
Well,
I don't think it's gonna do as good as Deadpool. I think it's going to be successful enough that they would consider putting out a sequel, continuing it, but I don't think it's gonna be overly impressive.
So you think it'll still be? Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like fucking it and like break all these records, but I think it'll be not Blade Runner and like not Come On Bomb. I think it's gonna be like a Split or a Get Out or something like that to that level. So I was gonna quickly look before we moved on. The movie's coming out in April. Well, the first biggest movie on this list is New Mutants, so maybe it has. All right, so April 6th, Blockers, which we're about to talk about. Look at that transition. April 13th, New Mutants. April 20th, Super Troopers, which is not going to do well. Rampage with The Rock, the video game movie Rampage they're doing. And then
Rampage has a movie coming out?
yeah, with The Rock.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm excited for that. That's gonna be so fucking bad.
So it actually,
oh
it
yeah.
actually does not have that much competition. So it's actually a really.
Oh, let's go see Rampage.
I'm
Let's
down.
go see Rampage.
Oh, it's a video game movie. It's a
Love
crossover. Let's do
Rampage,
it,
dude. We'll
Um,
play that on 24-hour stream. I have it on GameCube.
Oh, good. That game is
So
fucking awesome. So
fucking
it's
terrible.
actually a pretty good month. So it has a chance. That's why I compared it to Split, where Split came out. There's nothing else, and it just kept making money and money. So it has a chance. Good reviews. I like the trailer. They dropped at midnight, so they're trying to do like the spooky, like, oh, it's horrific.
Or someone forgot to hit
no, ain't
public.
yeah. What's
Or
going
forgot to
on?
hit save.
They meant 12 p.m., not 12 a.m.
I don't know the difference.
No, 12 p.m. is like lunchtime.
12 p.m. is like lunchtime. What if you have lunch at night? I
Well,
don't
then
You a
something.
vampire?
No.
Maybe.
Well, speaking of, just because it was a good transition, let's talk about Blockers, also coming out that exact same month. The only reason
Taylor, make your best rooster noise right now. Pretty good, man.
The only reason I threw this in was
I'm
because I had heard the synopsis, and the synopsis is these parents want to stop their daughters from losing their virginity on prom. I'm like, okay, that's kind of fun. And then John Cena's cast, some big wrestling guy, says like, oh, this sounds lots of fun. The trailer for me was like a letdown. I liked some jokes in there, but I did not fall in love with the trailer like I thought to. Because to me, that synopsis, that sounds like a great idea. It's like, oh, why has no one done this movie? It seems simple. Like, okay, that's the known thing. Like prom night's that night. So I was like a 50-50. That some jokes landed. I'm gonna be biased, I guess you could say, but like I thought John Cena was actually the best part of the trailer. Like Leslie Mann was okay. The other guy, I think his name's Ike Barinholtz. I like him a lot, so I think I'll like him in the movie. But just the scenes with him swinging it onto the deck and he hits him, and the whole the butt beer jug or whatever, like, and the whole
Yeah, the butt beer thing went on a bit too long.
it did. So
No,
you know
I
in the
said
movie
that.
it's gonna go on even longer.
Oh, like 5 minutes.
So I don't even think this movie will review, but I want to throw it in there because I was really excited, and the trailer has me like, I think this is gonna be a Netflix like watch and catch it when it's on DVD. Unless I see a few more trailers, but I was a little disappointed because
I think I'm in the same boat. Some jokes were good. I like the what would Vin Diesel do line. Like there's a few good lines, and I love Leslie Mann. I think she's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I doubt I'll see this in theaters, but who knows? It might be really funny.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be like a few solid jokes at least. Is it worth going to theaters for? Probably not.
No.
But who knows?
Yeah. I didn't love it. I can see like some positive aspects, but nothing that really grips me.
Oh.
So I don't think it's a movie I'll watch at all ever.
Oh snap!
But
Wow, lay the gavel down.
I don't know, just the
We'll
humor.
never watch your movie.
The humor of it, it
They're
just
gonna
doesn't
kidnap
get
him
me.
at gunpoint. You're watching it.
Like,
Would you watch it if you had if you had won the lottery?
There's so many better things I could do with my life.
Well, no, that's our thing. Remember, if you won the
I
lottery.
know.
Well,
Did you
there-
know?
If you win the
I
lottery
wouldn't.
and you have a gun to your head.
The gun to the head's the second step. If you won the
No,
lottery.
if I won the lottery, it would not make me want to watch this movie
So if
anymore.
I had won the lottery and had a gun to your head, would you watch
Yeah.
it?
What if
I'm not
Taylor
gonna
mind
die.
controlled you and watched it for you?
Taylor, what him?
Wait,
Mind
what?
controlled him and watched it for him.
In what way is he mind controlling me? Like, is
Fuck,
he
I don't know.
entering my brain and watching it
Telekinetically?
through
I'm
my
not sure.
eyes? Or like, am I still watching it, but I just don't have a choice?
What'd you think of the trailer, Taylor?
This movie's got.
Have I never
behind.
said that before? What'd you think of the trailer, Taylor? That sounds fucking sweet.
Trailer Taylor.
I'm using that from now on.
I love that.
You
Thank
said this movie looks fucking sweet.
This looks awesome.
Oh my
this
god.
movie
You're
has
so.
my money.
Oh my god. New
Movie
Mutants.
has
Oh,
your
it's
money.
okay. And then this like piece of Oh.
The only funny thing about watching this trailer with you was laughing at how you thought it was
Yeah.
funny.
Taylor loves his physical.
When
appearance.
I would honestly do a standalone review for this and someone else's, but I'm not going to because I like to do my standalone reviews just for like Lego horror and like video game movies.
Oh,
Like,
he
that
makes
stuff.
it sound like he
Video
has the
game
market
movies.
of horror when you've done
What
like
video game?
you've done like 2 horror
Uh,
movies. You did
yeah,
Resident
what
Evil,
video
which
game
no one wanted
movies
to
did you do
and
on your
Resident
own?
Evil.
There's a video game. movie.
Yeah,
You
so
got me.
and
You got me.
Annabelle, which were like, oh, fun. You're not cornering the market on horror movies.
It's not kind of like, oh, Taylor, can we review it with you this week?
Yeah, you're talking about shit reviews,
I
sure.
put-
Transformers.
you know,
I think
there's-
all the movies you've reviewed except for one have all been raw on Rotten Tomatoes. So it
But you
shows
know,
your
there's
taste.
people out there that want to get it covered. I beat your expectation for Transformers, so that's not a lot.
Okay, sure, you got me there.
But no, I mean, this is a movie I'm gonna do a review on, for obviously. But am I gonna see it in theaters? Absolutely. I think this movie was freaking hilarious.
Absolutely.
I think it is. it was making me laugh, and then that part where John Cena swings out.
That was good. I liked that. I did like that. I liked it.
The CGI was
It's so good. And just cringing at the butt chug thing, like, no, like, what's going on? And just, like, the cop's showing up and he's, like, his pants.
That's what we're going to do on the 24-hour stream.
No, thank you. No, that's not happening. I'm no John Cena. So.
Wow, so there you go, folks.
No
Someone's
John
really
Cena.
excited for that. You know what else Taylor's probably really excited for is Pacific Rim 2.
Oh no.
no, not
Yeah,
this.
I'll start. We talked about Cult of Chucky a couple weeks ago, how it was a slog to watch. This trailer felt the exact same way. Granted, I've not seen the whole thing of Pacific Rim 1. The trailers look lame there. I saw on TV, I was like, this is not a good movie.
Right.
It's really, for me, it was kind of boring. I know fans of it out there, obviously you got Taylor. But I was not a fan of this trailer. I don't know what John Boyega was doing with his voice. I think he was going
That's
for
his
like...
regular voice, isn't it?
No, his regular voice is British. He was doing like an African accent, I was pretty sure.
Oh,
I
thought
thought-
he was just doing
Sound
his
more
regular
British.
voice.
Sound like his regular British voice.
I swear, maybe listen to, because I swear if you hear his British voice in interview, like I just heard him on Battlefront introduce the game this weekend. He does not sound like that on
Sounds
Pacific
pretty
Rim.
similar. Maybe
I
it's
don't
more
think
like
so.
tone and
I
like
have nothing to
control
compare
for the
it to.
film, but
Either way, whether his voice was, it doesn't matter how his voice sounds because it threw me off at the beginning. So maybe it was just I'm just not that used to hearing him as British, but I did not like anything about this trailer. At the end when they tried to do the hype up and there's a bunch, they're like the monsters are improved and they're all standing there together. It's like I never ever want to see this
like Power
movie.
Rangers.
Yeah, but
But like
not fun.
not yeah.
Like it just they're
It
taking
doesn't make me
themselves.
feel good.
It takes itself so seriously, and yeah, this is definitely I think a review. Taylor, maybe we do another stuff, but maybe Dylan and Tyler are fans of this trailer.
well, if they're not in for it, I might get Ruben in on it because Ruben is freaking huge for this. He's huge for it. Way bigger than I am. But you know, this movie, I like absolutely.
Tyler, were you a fan of this trailer?
What are you,
No.
Bakudo from Defenders? Ruban, like get it, Colleen.
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 I haven't seen Defenders, so I
No,
can't
it was a
comment.
joke just for Dylan.
That was
and
a
the
very
viewers.
obscure joke that even I barely remembered it, but I got it now. Colleen.
I think it's because it's one of the
Colleen.
funniest things I've heard the past few months. Colleen.
This
It is
trailer,
funny. I forgot how funny it really is.
Ruban.
it did it for me. I think I'm gonna see it in theaters. I think when they were all standing at the end scene and they just show the runs, I'm like, whoa, like let me turn the volume up here and play it again, like oh my god.
Like, I feel like
I
shut the
was,
fuck up.
I feel like I was sitting in the chair and like the music was like blowing you back. Like it was just it was so
You're
exciting.
confirming this theory in my head that you're a massive stoner on your own time.
I took it as he just acted out a mommy getting a blowjob. He was like, like the way he was shaking.
That is what it looks like.
Right out of the dark univers.
I have a question
We're
for you.
gonna talk about that later.
Taylor, I have a question for you. So, I was looking at this, and I haven't seen the first one, so disclaimer, but I was looking at this, I was like, okay, what is it gripping here? And I was looking at it, and so I guess the plot of this movie is that the monsters they defeated in the first one weren't actually defeated, so now they're just gonna fight them again. So, like, what is the point of this movie? Because the story seems to me, like, and I haven't seen the first one, I'm guessing they defeated all the monsters, right?
All they did was cut the bridge, the portal from the monsters from the other alien planet to get to Earth.
So they
defeated them.
defeated them, and now that bridge is back.
It could be, or it's different kind of aliens, like different. I'm not
the
sure.
same aliens, but I don't know.
That's why I gotta watch the movie to find
Right.
out.
There you go, Dylan.
I don't know. To me, it's just, I don't know. It seemed like it was the classic of we're gonna undo what happened in the first movie and just do it all again.
Yeah.
Which
Now
doesn't
the
surprise me for a movie like this.
And now the cast from the first is back, except for like Charlie Day.
It's like an anthology series. Very cool.
Except just always fighting monsters.
Yeah, no, this looked pretty boring. I can't even remember like a scene from the trailer, and I watched it twice today
Yeah.
in the last hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah, no, it's not for me. Not for me.
And I do not think it's going to do well because Pacific Rim didn't do well
No,
here
dude.
already.
No.
I think in China.
China, that's where
Yeah.
it'll take off.
So they got that, but I think this was going to do even worse.
You
I don't
should
think
go
the
to China to watch it and just
Going
be
to-
in the theater with all the
It's my
fans. and
brethren
feel
over
it.
there. My brothers in arms.
Your brothers in arms
Yep.
are from China?
Yep.
Are you a spy?
Maybe.
Oh no.
Very cool.
Tyler, you
I-
didn't see this movie with Taylor over here?
I watched the first Pacific Rim on my own time. It was very average, like below average.
It was so average that it was below.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this trailer was awful. I don't like it.
Wow.
The music was very painful. It's just like, what?
Pretty bad.
What's going on here? And it didn't really make much sense because in the first one they just fight monsters and now they're fighting monsters.
Oh yeah, the music was really bad.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
it was really bad.
I watched
There
it.
was just
I have
like
no
war
idea.
ready with like random sounds.
It's a song I
behind it.
never want to hear again.
Yeah, I know what you guys would like.
And then-
It's a Tupac song.
I don't know,
It's untouchable. It's actually a great fucking song.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh god.
I listen to
And,
Steely Dan.
Shout out my
What
boy
was
Tupac.
and so now I guess the monsters are back, but they're also fighting other mechs for some reason, which I don't understand. But like the monsters found a way to control the mechs in some way. I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense. I'll watch it when I can see it for free. Because
come though?
I'm
You
a
don't
fan
like
of mech action.
Okay,
I just want to see big mechs fight other big mechs.
Okay.
And the rest of it I'll just like eat noodles and text through. But
Eat noodles and text. Coming to theaters near you.
That's a new Netflix and chill. You gotta eat noodles and text. What's that noodle you're talking about? Oh, you'll find out, Shmi.
Wow, nice
Anything
noodle.
on to add on Pack Room 2?
Oh, good.
So expect a
Yeah,
review from
review-
Tyler or Taylor and
reviews
Obama.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
If
might,
it's
like,
an hour
bring
and a
a
half-
podcast, like,
If it's an hour and a half and you buy my ticket, I'll
Like, yeah, watch that
That's
movie.
basically-
If I'd buy your ticket, would you go see it?
No, because I
I'll
don't.
buy you popcorn.
But no,
Oh,
no.
shit.
I have better stuff to do than waste 2 hours on
I feel
that.
like
and the
anything
other
that
one.
has giant robots in it, Travis, is like, no. I'm
Power
out.
Rangers. I was very excited for that. And I really like Power Rangers. So where's your theory there, big boy?
Yeah, you got anything?
I mean, Star Wars technically is big.
I have no
robots.
idea.
Yeah, they have AT-ATs and
Come on.
Vader's technically like a man robot. You know?
Cyborg would
Man
be
bot.
pretty big.
Talking about man bots, let's talk about the next Alien sequel, a sequel to Alien Covenant. Ridley Scott was quoted over the week. They asked him about the future of his franchise, whatnot, prequel franchise, I don't know. So at least it sounds like it's confirmed that it's no longer a prequel to the prequel, like there was rumored. He said that the next Alien movie is going to focus not on aliens, but primarily on AI and David. So, Dylan, I want to start with you because you loved David and Alien Covenant. And you can go back to listen to the review. You're a huge fan. A
I
huge fan of flutes as well.
I really love to see Michael Fassbender embarrass himself by
Oh, God,
kissing
no!
himself and playing the fucking flute.
Best part of the movie.
Oh god, that
Easily.
movie was garbage. Let's see. How am I excited for this? Well, I'll say this. I didn't like the presence of the alien in Alien Covenant. I thought it was used poorly. I thought the CGI was bad. So that's a positive. You know, maybe they're straying away from the aliens. Obviously, we had this discussion, I don't know, in the group chat or something of do they keep the name Alien or do they kind of make it a full-on spin-off? But you know, I'm not a huge fan, obviously, of Michael Fassbender's character, but. And you know, honestly, between that and Assassin's Creed, he's even kind of iffy on me now.
And
but
the Snowman's getting really bad reviews.
is it? Yeah. But I have seen him be really good before. So
He is the greatest actor of this generation.
He could be.
Everybody has
He
a few
could
bad
be,
days.
But I also saw Alien and I saw Assassin's Creed. And
Are
he
you
proved the
saying
opposite
that
of
in
me.
the sense like it's the film that brought him down, or are you saying that he just was bad in the film?
I think-
because I think he was the best part.
I think in Assassin's Creed he was a really bad actor, and yes, he didn't have much to work with, but I feel like his acting was quite bad as well, and like I noticed it as bad. Whereas I've seen a lot of bad movies where I'm like, well, at least they did as best they could with the script. But I think he was actually bad in Assassin's Creed.
I think
Covenant I think Covenant not. It's hard to say because he's playing like an android or a cyborg, whatever you want to call it. So like it's harder to do a lot of emotions. But
He did two roles.
I just thought that movie was super fucking weird, and I didn't like the Aragon thing where he had the cape and was like running around like super. I didn't like his presence in either of those movies, but I do have faith that he can do a good performance given the right surroundings. So yeah, it could be good. And then
How do you feel a movie just about the AI though now? Because like Prometheus was not about that, and Alien Covenant wasn't about that. So
So when you say the AI, what do you mean exactly? The engineers? Is that what it's about?
no artificial intelligence.
But like what?
I
David.
imagine like David and
So
his type
And
of
like
and Walter.
why he acts the way he acts. and
Yeah.
why, like,
Yeah,
what
How,
made him-
how's he crying or something?
Yeah,
like that.
I don't. It's
So,
hard
like
for me to
Blade
say
Runner.
because he's the only AI right now in
Yeah.
the current goings on. So I don't know how a movie. Like, I don't know what that would be. Is he gonna make other? If it's a movie with a fucking 100 Fassbenders walking around, I don't think I'd like that movie. But honestly, it could also be a really good movie somehow. So, I don't know. I'm. Let's just say I'm cautiously curious.
It's
I'll
like
go with that one.
It's like the Justice League trailer, but it's David just putting like thousands of like Michael Fassbenders surfing on him. That sounds great. So.
And then he also makes out with all of them.
Oh,
At
big
that
orgy
point-
sex.
At that point, he's just confirmed that he's a sellout.
He's not a
I'm done with
sellout.
that actor. You've ruined all your
my
chances.
God.
You've burned all your bridges.
Yeah.
Unless it's a good movie.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's
Folks.
the one saving grace.
I thought your shirt said Zack Snyder for a second. I've been looking at that shirt the whole cast because I like the colors, and I'm like, holy shit, is that a Zack Snyder?
That's Zack Snyder right there.
Oh,
No,
that's
shout out to
good.
the wrestler Zack Ryder. Yeah.
Yikes.
Woo, 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 you
Misdirection.
know what? Yeah, like that Luke JJ sent me this. He's like, put this on. Ty, what do you feel about this potential follow-up to
I'm
Covenant?
excited. I think it's better. I think they're oversaturating the market with aliens recently with Alien Covenant.
Just the
Too
one
many
movie.
aliens. They had like 4 different aliens in one
Do you
movie.
mean?
and
Oh,
it's like, yeah.
you mean like xenomorphs? Like
Yeah,
actual
they're using-
quantity of xenomorphs. As
They're
opposed
just
to movies.
using it too much in the movie because
Okay.
I feel like the less they use it, the more impact it has. And I hope
Suspense, true.
because I feel like they can't go forward with David's storyline without having the xenomorphs present in some way.
I think they
Obviously-
can.
Well, he was experimenting.
Well, he has those
I
little things,
guess,
and I feel like
yeah.
they're core to the way the way he's interested in the human race and like mutating them and mixing them with the xenomorphs and stuff. So I feel like that's a core aspect of it.
He wants to be a creator.
Yeah. So I feel like there's gonna be some sort of xenomorph, maybe not the xenomorphs that we're used to, but there's gonna be some sort of weird alien creature incorporated in the story in some way. But I'm really glad that they're moving away from it. I think Prometheus was really awesome in that way, and that it wasn't like a big focus on the xenomorphs. I mean, obviously they were present at the end, and the facehuggers were there, but there's a lot more focus on the AI and just like their quest to find the engineers and their creators and just like the people on the mission.
Yeah.
And I really like how they took Alien out of the title, even though it was still in that universe, and then they brought it back with Alien Covenant, obviously having Alien in the title, which I think was a bad idea if they are planning to go forward with going away from aliens. So I'm really excited for it though. I think it's a step in the right direction for sure, and I'm glad that really Scott's willing to evolve with the series and let the series evolve rather than just try and stick it to it being Alien and then just kind of either just stop movies or whatnot. But I'm glad he's willing to evolve and just like keep going and make it work. And I think he's going in the right direction rather than trying to make aliens work and just have it fail. So I'm really excited. I love David's character as well as you, so I can't wait. Do you think it'll be directly following David after Covenant? I feel like that's the obvious route.
It'll
but-
follow David, but I think there could be a little
A
time
time
jump
jump, yeah.
going on, some time jump action.
Time
Yeah.
jump action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I think it's the right choice, and I hope they don't put Alien in the title anymore.
Alien David.
David's the real alien.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you definitely hit a lot of points pretty solid on.
Solid on.
Solid on.
I'm solid on.
Got a solid on for that one.
I would love them to take Alien out of the title, to be honest, because I like Alien Covenant enough. I don't even remember what I rated it, but I mean it had
Pass, I imagine.
it was a pass. Yeah, it had its certain things that I when I think back on it I didn't like about it, but I mean it's carrying forward. I think it's an interesting concept to focus more on David and AI, but Alien is definitely a part of him as much as he is a part of like the Alien universe now, like the Alien xenomorph itself, I should say. So I feel like it'll carry with him, like you said, but like I don't know exactly how they're gonna play it out or how they're gonna focus on just being about him, with it being ended on like the ship with his facehuggers and like all those humans. So I mean I probably see it being more of like a time jump, like you said, and Yeah, so I'm very curious to see where it goes, but I feel like they learned a lot from Covenant and people's reactions, what they wanted to see, what they didn't want to see, and I think they're going to apply that.
Yeah, so in person, if you're new to the cast, and Covenant, one of my least favorite movies, like maybe like the past decade. I was like so bored in it. I did not like the way they used most of the stuff. But I did like Michael Fassbender, I did like David, and I did like Walter. That's where I think it is a bad movie, but I don't think he gave a bad performance like in Assassin's Creed. I'll always give you Assassin's Creed, but with Alien Covenant, like he played David the same way David was in Prometheus, right? Like he's very shady, very calm, cool, collected. So if I have to see another movie in this universe, I guess I would like it to go with David because that's the only thing I liked in Covenant. But when I hear that, like, we're going to focus on AI, and, like, I'm paraphrasing, just, like, also they're going to get into, like, oh, why is David crying, and why does he have emotions, and why does he think like this? Like, I've seen that movie kind of before with Ridley Scott, and to me that's Blade Runner. Like, he's already tackled, like, androids and replicants. Like, I don't want this movie, even though I like David. Like I said, if I have to get it, sure, but I don't think there's a need for it. I don't think the movie is going to be... I don't think it's going to be that successful, maybe critically and financially. Alien Covenant did not do the greatest. It was actually, I think it's positive on Rotten Tomatoes, so reviewed well. Now I think it's like a 70, but I don't see the need for it. And I think after Covenant, I was just kind of done with, okay, I think I can take another break from this whole alien stuff, you know, because I like Prometheus, but Alien Covenant was definitely like to retroactively kind of get rid of that in a way, like they kind of washed their hands of it, and I don't have any interest in this David story anymore than unless we're here, I'll go see it and review it, but it's not something, it's going to take one hell of a trailer to get me to be super excited to see Alien ... You know?
What if they throw a flute in the title? David and the flute.
I saw it once. I don't need to see it again. I don't need them pull a pack.
What if he controls an entire army of aliens by playing the flute in different ways?
If there's hundreds of Fassbenders, they got me. They got me no matter what. I go see almost every Michael Fassbender movie, so I'm gonna go see it. I do think he's had a bad year and a half. So but even then, Apocalypse bad movie, but he was the best part. For me, Covenant, same thing. He was the best part, so I still believe
his goal to take a bad movie and try his best to make it a good movie on his own.
Yeah, too bad. It's too bad.
It's not, but
for his career,
he feels it's something that's greater than his career.
Well,
he's on a mission.
And it's just sad when I hear these rumors that he turned down Blade Runner. You know, it's he has the snowman coming out.
Do you think he would have saved Blade Runner or no?
Money, no. He's not a big name. If
Gosling
can,
is a much bigger name than
and Harrison Ford, didn't really do that much. So, anything to talk about with David?
Negative.
Well, you know what's something that could be dead on arrival? No, that transition doesn't make sense. I don't think the Monster Doctor universe is happening anymore. So The Mummy came out this summer. It was a whole big setup. The next movie in the franchise was supposed to be Bride of Frakenstien, directed by Bill Condon, who did Beauty and the Beast for Disney. I think it was supposed to come out in the next year or two, and on Universal they released the schedule, and it was taken off.
That was the only thing that had a date, though, right?
That had a date, yeah. And it was taken off. The director has said, we just want to be sure, we want to get all our ducks in a row, but many people have speculated that maybe this is the sign that this dark universe, monster universe, whatever you want to call it, might not be happening anymore. Yeah. Or how do we feel about this? Do we feel that they should have took another shot at it? Because, Ty, did you end up seeing The Mummy?
Nope.
Okay, why did you not see The Mummy?
Wasn't interested.
Okay, there we go.
Heard poor things about it.
Were you interested in the aspect of monster universe that was interconnected, though?
Not really.
Okay. So
I don't think they
two strikes for
very interesting things with that. Because what do the monsters do? Fight other monsters?
Yeah.
Who knows? Do they fight good guys? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Even The Mummy wasn't really clear on that. So.
Yeah, we'll never really know.
No. Yeah.
Because they're not doing it anymore. Unless they do it.
Well, they're not necessarily not doing it anymore.
That's true.
It's just in flux right now, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, yes, they want to make a universe of it, but these movies, they likely will have a standalone feature to them. Even The Mummy obviously had Dr. Jekyll and Hyde in there as well, but it still is a standalone movie. Obviously, it's the first one, so it would be. But I feel with all of these characters that they have to play with, there's a lot of chance to make a standalone movie that is potentially really good and really interesting, a lot of fun, and then maybe do a couple of those and have ties to the dark universe, or maybe some events that you want everyone to join up and be part of later. So I I don't know. I don't think they're. I don't know how the Mummy obviously didn't do that well financially.
It did just like all right in China. It did all good enough, so I think it made like a profit or broke even.
Yeah,
it didn't review. It was very poorly reviewed.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't a great movie.
No.
But I don't think it was the worst movie this year. I think there's even 3 or 4 movies that were worse than that maybe this year. So, I would definitely give it another chance if they whatever they choose to do, if they do Bride of Frankenstein or if they do something else. Before that, I'll give it a chance. I'm sure we'll review it. If not, maybe I'll see it at some point on my own. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a chance. I'm obviously still kind of curious how they're going to tie it all together, how they're going to make this a universe, and how these characters are really going to play off each other, and how that'll work and not be super cheesy. And I mean,
that's it kind of was like that in The Mummy when we took a half an hour break to like. Oh, let's introduce Prodigium in this whole world of monsters, and then let's get back to the Mummy movie.
Yeah, and I mean, I personally don't have a lot of connection with these characters. Like, obviously, they're kind of household names for the most part, but I've never seen the original Mummy. I didn't know who Dr. Jekyll and Hyde were when I first saw the 2017 Mummy. I had no idea who that character was. I heard the name, but that's about it. So, yeah, I'll give it another chance, but I guess I'm not surprised at the same time, because it always has kind of confused me a little bit in what they were gonna try and do with it. It's just a weird idea, right?
Well, that was my biggest thing. It was just I never understood what the end goal was. You know, like that's the thing when Marvel. Like, there's 2 things with Marvel. One, when they started, they didn't say it, but they had an end goal to get to Avengers. Then once Avengers happened, they made substantial more goals to hit.
Sure.
And the very first Marvel movie. There's no setup for Avengers until the end credits where Nick Fury comes in and says, hey, I need to talk to you about the Avengers initiative. That's it. The whole movie is itself. It's alone. It's a Tony Stark Iron Man movie. You fall in love with that character, and then let's see what happens. Because if that end credit thing happens and you don't get a sequel, then whatever. It was just there as a small little chunk. With The Mummy, it's literally a whole chunk of the movie, so that takes you right out of it because you have to like have a learning history lesson before you get back to the Mummy movie. And yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, was it they were all going to team up? Was it they were going to just be cameos in other people's movie? Was it going to be like a Van Helsing situation?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
We're all in the same world.
Yeah, and it did make much more sense once I saw the movie as well. I still had these questions. Like, that was the problem. And I think that I'm more opposed that I think they should make these movies, but just scrap the whole universe thing. We don't need these universe things. Ghostbusters, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do a new male one. They're going to be a new thing. That's not going to happen because Ghostbusters lost a lot of money. DC, you can do that, but the problem was, same thing as Mummy, they tried to do that in BVS all in one movie. You know, like, so far, something that I felt in Hollywood that would be easy, of like, hey, you start with a few movies and build up. Really, only one company has done that successfully. Wonder Woman was a right step, but until I see Justice League, I can't throw DC in that category. There's no one else running the game right now, along with Disney and Marvel, that have done a makes sense, financially successful and critically successful and well received by the fans. There we go. Franchise. I don't know how much longer this like connected universe thing is gonna stick around, because I feel like the past 2 years since we started the podcast, we hear that about all these franchises. That we gotta make this big universe and crossovers, but it's not really working unless you have a Marvel tag by it, you know? And like,
you don't start there, you get there when you have a good foundation.
Yeah. Well, and even like look at Fox, like that's why I kind of commend them in 2 ways. Of one, they're taking all these risks with superhero movies. They're not letting super fatigue happen, because Deadpool, Logan, even Apocalypse and New Mutants look completely different vibe. And they've kind of just like, oh, how are these connected? It's just like, well, I just watched the movie. They're kind of connected, but not really. Like Logan, they're like, some of the movies happened, some of them didn't, but at the end of the day, like Dylan was referring to earlier, we say this all the time recently, if it's a good movie, people don't care. People wouldn't care how the Mummy, I wouldn't have cared that much if the Mummy was connected this way or that way if I would have loved it. You know, that's what happened with Logan. I didn't care what movie it was. Deadpool, is it weird that we have like 2 Colossus in different universes? Yeah, but then it's whatever. So I think they just should do these monster movies, do them updated, and make them more on the horror side. Horror having a big year, especially with It.
Yeah.
It proved that it can have a great horror movie, but be huge financially success. Not just a big success, huge. One of the biggest movies of the year. I think it's like 6 in the top 10 or something like that. It's killing it. So that shows that like horror movies can make money done well. I'm not saying they're gonna put out The Mummy and Wolfman and that's all gonna be a big box office success, but I think the action horror vibe as well was not really not really a good thing. You know, it wasn't unique. Marvel's doing that. The only difference is instead of Iron Man, it's a mummy. You know, like do something different. So I want to see these movies, but not as action buddy horror comedy.
Action buddy horror comedy. My least favorite genre.
Yeah, you haven't talked about this at all. I can't even remember if you liked The Mummy. I know you probably gave it like a 9 out of 10 or something, but.
What I remember, I really enjoyed it. You know, I say go for it. I mean, what do you got to lose?
Money.
Well, I mean,
that's part of the reason why it's like, oh, we may not do this.
You know, they got tons of money. I mean, what's so bad about putting out one more Dark Universe film just to test the waters? When it comes down to it, I mean, if they were on like their 10th one, and they're like, you know, maybe it's getting a little dry.
10th one.
So we'll hold off. We won't do that Wolfman 5, and then.
I don't think they're gonna call Wolfman.
10 ones and 10 and 4 of them are Wolfman.
Wolfman and David 5.
Wolfman : David. Or Wolfman v. David.
Yikes. That's the end plan. They all get together and they have to fight David.
Yeah, great. And then
that's something to find on a GeekVerse.
You know, just go for it, Universal Studios. Just come on, put out
your financial advisor.
just go for it.
Here's a paycheck. Go make the movie happen.
To play devil's advocate, if you do look at it that way, different because DC was making a lot of money with their movies, so they're fine that way. But critically, they didn't get a good one till their 4th one at bat. So, you know, maybe Universal's going to look at that and be like, you know, 4 times was the charm over there at Warner Brothers, so let's try that.
But which 4? Do they go with Bride of Frankenstein, or do they go with, like, Creature from Black Lagoon?
Well, I think they do Bride of Frankenstein because the rumor is that if they do it, they were trying to get Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman herself, to do it. It just feels like, oh, let's get the super popular Wonder Woman.
She's too cool for that now.
Yeah, unless they throw like some big money. But I think that one, because I think there is like a vibe right now that female like led films are doing really well. Probably the Wolfman, but there's been so many bad Wolfman movies that's kind of tough. I think I'd like to see Creature.
Joel Edgerton as the Wolfman.
That'd be sick. He doesn't have cosmetics. He's just as.
He just does it on his
just a wolf.
Yeah, and then I guess you gotta go Dracula, but everyone hated Dracula Untold. So that's the problem. Most of these movies have had like bad movies in the past 5 to 10 years. So it's like it's really tricky. You know, I don't know what. It's kind of like you look at Daredevil, people say it was a bad movie, they threw him to Netflix, you know, like it's kind of like that where you're going to have to kind of rehab them a bit somehow, so.
Netflix originals, TV series.
Hey, maybe.
That's the way to do it.
Do it up. Speaking of, this is a totally offshoot, no, never mind, we talked about that. I was going to ask you guys about, what was the Joel Edgerton movie that he was in? You guys just watched recently.
It Comes at Night?
Yeah. But we talked about it in the group chat, so never mind. We'll talk about it in the best of 2017, maybe?
We will talk about it.
There we go.
Sure.
Blade Runner. Let's talk about this. The last few
Blade
movies.
Runner.
So, past 3 weeks we covered it. We did a preview for the movie. We did a review, which thank you for tuning. That's doing very well. It's one of our biggest episodes of the year, so thank you for that. Did not do that well at the North American box office. It made 30... I'll go high. I think it was 32 million. It was projected to make about 55 million opening weekend, so below expectations. Globally, it's doing better. What?
Budget?
It's been rumored anywhere from 150 to 200 million. Because you got marketing and stuff in there, and it looks no. I think he
gets $1 million.
Yeah,
100 million.
And like I think the movie does look $200 million worth or something like that, but it hasn't opened in Japan or China, so there's still a hope. But why? I always talk about this with people. I threw out foreign because I don't live in China. I don't live there, so I don't know when people I don't know what people are gonna like. Why do you think? Here it didn't do as well as expected. Like, what were your vibes? Because we all liked it. It has great reviews.
That's the thing that's confusing for me. It has good reviews, and you're saying Blade Runner, the original, wasn't popular at the time, but since then I feel like it's garnered quite a positive reputation. It had Harrison Ford, it had Ryan Gosling.
Also La La Land, too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it had these two massive movie stars together who have never been in something together even, right? So that's something of interest.
Batista.
The trailers, Batista's huge. The trailers were pretty good. I personally thought it was a really, really good movie as well. I honestly, the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is that, you know, it's a long movie, and a lot of people aren't apt to see that in theaters. Like, when I first told my parents, I was like, we were sitting down and watching the movie, and I was like, this is, you know, it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Like, whoa, like, yikes, like, I don't know if I can handle, like, that's a lot, that's a big movie. And so I can kind of I can understand that. Like, I know me personally, like, I think that movie was good to be that long, but still I'm kind of getting away from that longer movie trend that's been happening. So I don't know, I don't have the answer. That's all I got.
Yeah, a lot of saying what Dylan said. I'm baffled at at how poorly it's done. I thought it was one of the best movies of the year, and just an absolutely phenomenal piece, and it just surprised me a lot. Like, I remember when you first mentioned it, I was just like, oh, shit, like, that's, how is this not making so much money? And it's crazy. I think with you, it's probably because of the length, and then there's probably a lot of people who, I can see a lot of people from our generation who might not be as into movies, maybe checked out the first Blade Runner and didn't like it as much. And I could see that causing a big turnoff, at least for our generation. And then also probably people just be like, oh, well, I never saw the first Blade Runner, so I don't really want to watch that, and then sit down and watch another 3-hour movie. So I think, if anything, it can still do well post-opening weekend.
I'm excited to see what it does this weekend, see if it holds anything. Sure. I'm hoping.
But I don't know. It's very confusing that it's not doing very well for me. So.
Now, Taylor, I was interested to see what you were going to say, because a few weeks ago, we in this very room debated about, you know, you felt like critics, you know, if they gave a movie bad review, that was like kind of putting a curse on it, and they could hurt a movie, and like I had used examples.
We did famously have this conversation.
Yeah, go back and check it out. This is an example of fans loving it, critics loving it, but it still does poorly.
I feel like you guys have like the point of view of how I feel with like 90% of my movies.
I don't think so. What do you mean? 90%?
Like, he loves Transformers and he has no idea how it doesn't do very well.
All these different movies. So I feel like you guys are in my shoes for a change.
Well, not really.
No.
I don't know.
Our movies are. I think this one's actually rated really well.
I think your perspective is that you maybe feel like you're maybe on the outs because your movies get like bad reviews, but you feel like it's a good movie.
Well, I mean,
whereas I feel justified this is a good movie. I don't really give a shit, but I do feel justified because everyone else seemed to love it, and it did get good reviews as well.
That still didn't do well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the sense like, I love Assassin's Creed. I feel like I had a lot of things that justified it, but like it didn't do well, like money wise. And that's like for you, like you think it, like you say it justified. You have justified reasons why it's done well, and it just didn't make enough money though. That was predicted to. So I meant in that sense, kind of like.
Fair enough.
What are all these other people justifying that Assassin's Creed is a good movie? Because I've seen many people, as I run the Twitter, that are Assassin's Creed fans just like yourself, and they talk about like how bad that movie was.
There's a lot of weekend warriors out there. Let me tell you.
Wow! So you have to see. So we talked about this with Star Wars. You don't have to love.
You gave that movie a 7, man.
Yeah, that's true, and you give Squad a 10.
That's like one of your lowest rated movies.
I gave it a very honest one, and I like the film. I really like the film. But other people are quick to like fucking hate this movie. And it's like, whoa, like come on. But yeah, we did talk about that with Star Wars.
Yeah, they don't have to love everything.
No,
loving something blindly doesn't make you a big fan.
I don't love it blindly. I love to compare prequel Anakin to Kylo Ren.
Okay.
Prequel Anakin.
But you know, I mean,
odd reason.
the movie, like, did I enjoy the movie? I really enjoyed it. But is it definitely like up there for my favorite of the year? No. I think.
I want to see that list.
You wouldn't be able to keep up. It's a long list.
Yeah, none of those
Lego Ninja.
None of those movies are making on the Golden Geeks nomination. I'll promise you that.
We'll see. No, probably not. I think it had so much going for it visually, the score, everything. It was absolutely fantastic. But I think a lot of what had to do with it, like people in our generation, they didn't see the first one. It doesn't have that effect, like, like being an older movie, like, you know, like Star Wars, for example. I know Star Wars is a huger scale, but I'm just pretend it's not. Be unbiased for a minute here, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's say like Star Wars came out. There's original ones, and then like Blade Runner has its original, but Star Wars has that audience of like moving into this generation. You have the adults, you have us, and you have the kids.
4
Blade
quadrants.
Blade Runner just has that's still that cult following, and then some who are jumping on the bandwagon a little bit later, like us. But it doesn't have all those different aspects and like groups that it can jump into. I feel like that really took a hit on it.
Mm-hmm.
I still stand by it being a good movie. But it's a shame, not all movies get to do.
Get the recognition.
They get the
The other thing that's confused, like, for me personally, is other than you guys, like, not a lot of my friends go and see movies like opening night, but a few of our friends went to go see it, and my parents haven't gone to a movie in years and years. So, but they came out of the woodwork for this one. So I don't know. It's very strange.
I think it's just we happen to know a few people, like, for me, like Liam and Kyle is saying, like, they've seen the first one, they were excited for it. I think we happen to know a few people, but I do think that, I don't know, those people, I guess, I have a lot of people that also don't know it. That's where it's like it levels on. I probably know more people that maybe saw it that, oh, it was alright, or haven't seen it, and that's saying, like, you guys, like, literally saw Blade Runner 1 for the first time last week. And there's a chance, if we weren't doing the podcast, you may have watched it, right? But there's many people there that aren't doing a podcast, so they're not going to go and watch Blade Runner because, especially like we brought up, that's like I think one of the reasons obviously is the runtime. They see that's a Netflix movie. That's a stay home in your PJs, watch.
Some noodles and tech.
Yeah, just watch it on TV. You could fall asleep, do things like that. But I was surprised because there were people, but I wonder if it is that many people that are like, oh, I'm going to go see it, but don't get around to see it. I do think, I always say the 3 things that make a movie super successful. Great trailer. It was a big proof of that this year. And they have to have all 3 of these things. A great trailer, a release date. You look at Planet of the Apes and Spider-Man Homecoming, they hurt each other by releasing so close. The next thing is a good movie and good reviews. So Blade Runner had 2 out of 3 to me because I didn't really think about this. It's a writer I follow and he talked about a lot this week, Max Landis. He talked about if you watch the trailer, and because he was somebody who's very popular in all of it, he had not seen the original Blade Runner. He said if you watch, and I did after, if you watch the Blade Runner 2049 previews, there's no hook. They don't give you anything. It's a lot of action. It's a lot of stuff. If you know Harrison Ford, it can look beautiful, but there's not like an ever hook. Like not in any of these trailers once does it actually say Ryan Gosling is hunting down replicants. Like they don't even give the plot of it. And that's where I was talking about with Star Wars. Force Awakens can do that because everyone knows Star Wars. They've at least seen it once. They've heard it talked about for years, and you have big time actors. And you do with Harrison Ford again, but the trailer, I think, was good for people like us that do film podcasts or film geeks, or people like myself that had seen Blade Runner and was really excited for a sequel. I think I always throw it with people like my mom, people even like Emily. She's seen the first Blade Runner. She's like, I don't need to see this one. Like, I'm fine with skipping it. It's like, I don't think there's any reason for them to really jump back into that world for people that weren't really into it. And I think that hurt. I don't know what else you could do, because I could say easily don't spend that much money, but then I think that this is a film that looks, whatever the budget is, it looks at it. It looks very, very expensive. It's not something where you hear it's like $100 million and it's like a movie that just takes place in a house. You're like, where did that all go? Like this looks $200 million, but I think that was about it because release date, there's nothing else right now. Like Happy Death Day out is today and The Foreigner. Like there's nothing people aren't pushing aside to see the Jackie Chan movie, So that's my only hope that it keeps making money. Everyone forgets Avatar only opened with $77 million. Didn't even crack $100 million opening weekend. It's the biggest movie of all time. Just because people kept going back to see it. And hopefully word of mouth will do that for Blade Runner, but I don't know. We'll have to stay tuned to that. So
Stay tuned.
what was I gonna say? For my last movie news, there's supposed to be a Black Panther trailer coming soon, and same thing as Infinity War trailer. So I have a feeling we're gonna get Black Panther with Thor Ragnarok, and then I think we'll get Infinity War with Last Jedi. I think they're gonna save that for the last year.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty hype.
Yeah. So that's coming. The quick note I was going to throw just for Dylan and Taylor, because we haven't talked about quickly, and I can even ask you, Tyler. Do you guys feel it's strange that we've only got one Saw trailer? We've talked about it personally, but I just want to talk about it on air because the review's coming soon. I do not understand what's going on.
It seems like that was a while ago, right?
It was Comic-Con, July. They've had one trailer.
I thought it was longer ago than that.
No, it was Comic-Con.
I'm just saying, like, it feels like it was a long
I thought you were
time
doing
ago.
the Taylor thing. I'm like, no.
No, like, you're wrong. I actually...
I'm like, I can throw the thumbnail. But yeah, and there's been 2 TV spots released, but it's pretty much old footage. I just feel like talking about something bomb, I just wanted to do this for a hashtag Trash Tolisso. This movie's not going to do well. I don't think... It's only been 7 years since the last one, so there's not been that long of a time. And one trade... Like, I don't get why. Like, it's Halloween. Like, I feel like no one knows this movie's coming out.
And I mean, Saw doesn't have like an amazing reputation all around, right? So it's not, you can't just sell it just on the name.
Yeah. So I don't know. Taylor, you have any thoughts on that?
I feel like another trailer is to not happen is justified because
we got 2 weeks.
The movie, in the sense, like, what are you supposed to show? I mean, Jessica already pointed out a character is obviously dead within watching the first trailer. There's not much you can showcase in this kind of a movie.
I think that they did it solid, great. You can go back and watch trailers for all the other Saws, and you don't most of the time see who's gonna live and survive. So I think that's just poor editing.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like the trailer, they should have hinted at it, like, way before, obviously, Comic-Con, but not released it then. I feel like they should have released a trailer just, like, within the past couple weeks leading up, like, in September. That's when they should have released the first and only trailer they've released, is then. Mm-hmm. That way it's closer to the actual day, and then people would be like, wow, Saw's coming out too, like, right after it, like, this is gonna be awesome, like...
I worry that people see that and they're like, oh, those are the old horror movies, like, and it's something really cool and new. Like, I don't want to go back and see Saw, you know. Tyler, what do you feel? Because obviously you're not on Saw Retro with us, so you're not a fan of the series. But just from, like, you and maybe people you know, like, do you feel like people are clamoring for this movie? Like, obviously, like, what? How do you feel about this?
No, I don't know. I've never been interested in it. I watched the trailer.
Mm-hmm. Do you hear anybody else other than us talking about this movie?
No,
and I know too. I've not heard anybody else. Yeah. And when I bring it up, it's like, oh, another Saw.
Well, I feel like Saw, I don't know.
I feel like
its popularity was gone a long time ago. Like after the first couple.
Yeah, it started to decline. It had like a little jump up because they introduced 3D, so I was like, oh, see Saw in 3D.
But people get ended with the forums, didn't it?
Yeah, and then the forums killed it. But
the numbers.
Yeah, that's my prediction. I think it's gonna do really bad, and I hope it's good. But next week is a newscast, and the week after is our Saw review. So we literally have 1 week until for another trailer.
Wow, yeah, that's a weird thought.
And you look at Justice League, is at 4 trailers. Like Justice League and Star Wars are movies that you could have 1 trailer for and be okay. Saw, they should be pumping out trailers, and even if it is spoiling stuff, just to remind people. Like, I'm really interested to see what it does.
Even just recutting some of the same scenes in a different order.
Yeah.
Music maybe, and
even
just short 30-second to a minute teasers.
They have the 30-second TV spots, but there's never been a official this is trailer 2. I don't know, and even then, it was a few years ago for its 10th anniversary. Saw came back in the theaters, and it had, even though it came back, it had one of the lowest openings of all time, and it didn't even hit 1 million. So I think it has a lot to be worried about. But check the Saw retrospective. If you're out there, honestly, let me know if you're excited for this and whatnot. Yeah. So, any movie news?
Movie news? Nope.
You know what? This kind of irked me. I just want to shout out, but it has to do with going back to DC. Those DC fanboys.
Why didn't you bring it out with Justice League?
Because I was too just hyped about talking about it, and after this whole time it was just stewing, and I just think, why are the DC fans just so trashy?
Oh, wow! Be careful!
I had just dropped that bombshell.
Careful, Taylor.
I have to say this, and I say this in defense of you. I can't remember the dude's name, but literally you corrected yourself for calling the dude Ares. And yet he calls you out for it, and then you say, no, I corrected myself. It's in the video, and he says, no. Again, why are you guys so rude?
To set this for people, especially our podcast listeners, go to our YouTube channel. We did our trailer reaction. I accidentally called the villain Ares, and right away I'm like, oh, I mean Steppenwolf, because I realized it. It was 5:30 in the morning, really early, and there's a commenter that was like, oh, hey, you said his name wrong. That's Steppenwolf, just so you know. Really condescendingly, and I was like, oh, I corrected myself I corrected myself right after in the video, and I said that to him. I'm like, oh, I corrected myself right after, and he's like, no, you didn't. I didn't hear you. And I'm like, well, I did it twice. So you just gotta be used to them. They're passionate. They've taken a lot of beatings between BVS, Man Steel, and Suicide Squad. They're always the butt of the jokes. I do wonder though, as we sit down, we got a month to go for Justice League. If Justice League is bad and poorly received, I think that fan base is just gonna melt. They're just gonna they're gonna go haywire. They're gonna get even worse than they were before. So.
Well, I'd be excited to see that. I'm not gonna lie. After
are you the Joker? You just gonna watch the world burn?
After me and Dylan put out our thoughts on the last Justice League trailer,
he's still salty over that.
I am, because I'm very positive 99.9% of the time. The one time I feel like I got a little like trashy and like holy fuck, like burn me at the stake. I feel like Jesus crikey, like holy
Jesus
fuck.
crikey.
I mean,
oh man,
it's just that's gonna stick with me for a while. I go to Dream at night. I think those fucking DC fans.
You go to Dream at night? That's such a weird way to say that. Like I go to bed so I can dream. I don't go to bed because I'm tired. I go to bed to dream. To get some real dreams. I hate those lucid daydreams. I want the real dreams.
Be right back, guys. I need to go take a dream. Dreams come to me. Well, you know what? A lot of people have been dreaming about Stranger Things season 2.
A lot of people are dreaming about it, yeah.
I'll start because I've been the biggest harper of saying I think the season's gonna disappoint. The last trailer of this one have made me want to eat my words. I still think it's going to be less liked than everybody else. I compare it to Guardians 2. Me and Dylan are the only people I know in the world that like it as more, like Guardians 2 as much or more than the first one. Everyone else is always like, no, it wasn't as good as the first one. So I think it's going to be that again, but both trailers were like, this one I really liked. It did make it seem like it was a grander scale. It did make me feel like we were just seeing the same thing over again. So I am a lot less worried now.
You don't think it seems like a grander scale?
No, it does.
Oh.
That's what I mean. It feels like, because I just finished season 1, I rewatched it, and it feels that was very
contained,
very sensual in a way, as far as it's just about this one kid. This is a much grander scale. Everything's looking good. There's lots of great imagery in there. The fact that it's at Halloween has me. It's my favorite day of the year, favorite day in the world.
In the world.
Before you go, Winona Ryder just looks like she's chewing the scenery, and she's just like, "What about my boy?" Like she was good enough in Stranger Things, but Winona Ryder, the big star.
It's Winona Ryder, not Winona Ryder.
She is to me. She is a little cheesy sometimes, but other than that, nothing stuck out. It looked great. I'm very excited, and
I think I'm maybe a little scared that it's going to be too grand of scale.
Fair enough.
Because
there's a lot of big shots of big aliens.
There's a lot of big shots of big aliens, and I'm curious if that's going to be felt by like everyone in the town, everyone in the world, or if they're just showing that in the trailer, and I get the feeling that that's what it's going to be. But
I know it's Ben Affleck was Batman driving up and like. We're ready.
Not the glasses.
And that Stranger Things is a prequel to Justice League, all those parademons.
I'm not even gonna entertain that.
Okay.
But yeah, I pretty much what you said. Like I like how the first one. Yes, there is some bigger things going on that kind of stretch out of the small group. Like obviously people are going missing, and I mean some characters even die, and that does have an effect on the town. But I feel like this one is just. I almost worry that it's just kind of doing the same thing, but times 10.
Okay.
Rather than taking the story in a new direction, and I like that the character Will is his name, right? I like that the character is around, and he obviously is going to have a big impact on the story, and he has answers by way of like I don't know how he sees the world, and how he has access to the Upside Down or something like that. But I like that the twist of that is that he's there, he's conscious, he's talking with them this time. So I am interested, and I really did like the first season, so I'm going to watch this one as well. I'm just I'm just going in a bit cautious, and I hope it doesn't go too bonkers, because, I don't know, I like that it's, the main cast is a bunch of kids, and obviously the situation they're dealing with is of pretty big importance, but I like that it doesn't feel too grand, I guess, so... Yeah. Yeah, and I like just how it gives everyone like a quick scene. You get to see all the cast showing up in full force, and some glimpses of some new characters we'll get introduced to as well. So, in terms of that, I think it's
share the load.
Everyone's got to share the load. Yeah, Samwise, and 11 also looks like she might be evil or something. So I'm pretty excited for that.
I didn't get that vibe at all.
Really, I when she walks in, like that door opens and she's got that curly hair, I was like, she's evil.
I think she just has to focus hard and like you know.
I was I'm kind of hoping that she goes.
Yeah, the race thing.
Yeah, I know every girl.
Hey man,
Wonder Woman better be evil and Justice League.
Good villain. I like a good villain. So.
Yeah. Taylor, what were your thoughts on Stranger Things season 2? Notoriously, I hated the first season.
My water's empty.
Did I say I hate the first season?
Oh yeah, you gave it a 1 out of 10.
Did I?
I don't remember doing that.
No, the fact that you can't remember if you like something.
Well, that was
fucking
a long
alien
time ago.
Who takes his memories that he learns throughout the days and imports them into a machine. Like,
they don't give them
this
back
is what
to
I
me.
learned today on the human colony.
No, yeah, from what I remember, I really liked season 1. I thought it was fantastic.
Memories are lying.
I feel like season 2 will be of equal, like, greatness, or just a little falling short, I feel like.
So 2 things.
Yeah, it could be either
So
or.
it won't be better. You just said it won't be better.
It won't be better.
Everything is discovered.
Definitely feel also like this is the last season they need to do, and then they can just
They're
wrap it up.
not. They said they're doing 4 to 5.
Are they actually?
45 seasons. You're at Taylor. 45
I
more
think
than that
This is gonna
Simpsons.
go on for like 3 generations.
More than Survivor.
I think
10 of them take place in the Valerian sequels.
10, just 10.
Just
But not necessarily in order. Like it's.
yeah, they
a
jump
whole
over.
I think they legitimately, if they're gonna do 4 to 5, I think they just killed themselves doing that many. I don't.
Oh yeah.
Well,
That's just bad.
they could drop. They could go back to what they were originally planning of an anthology series, right?
The plan is with these characters 4 to 5.
Oh,
They've
say
said
that.
that. Yeah.
I think that's too much. I feel like this just comes off
These
as
kids
like
are gonna be 40 by the time it's done.
I'm getting like the It vibe where like it could be done in so well with just 2 parts and then maybe a third.
Okay, wait.
I
The new
I
It?
see what he's
What are you
saying.
talking
No, I see what he's saying.
You
Like
haven't
the
seen
original.
it.
Story.
No, the original. I always thought that would be fun if they do that and then in 30 years get all these kids back together when they're adults and do like a Stranger Things, like whatever season 2.5 or whatever.
Blade
No,
Runner.
I think that, yeah, Stranger Thing 2049. Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea.
We're doing GeekVerse 2049. 100%.
Yeah, we'll be alive.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, some of us will.
Yeah, not Taylor.
No, I gotta
Lifespan.
go back to my ship.
Gotta go back to Mother Base.
3 other people in this room will be alive. Find
Yeah.
out then.
Did you guys see? Well, you guys probably didn't see, but the Red Ranger from Power Rangers is in this. He pretty much looks like he's just playing a character that is like a ripoff of Henry Bowers. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It looked very similar to Henry Bowers.
yeah, and like I think they had a still, and he has like a knife, and you'll see it in the show, and that's a good big thing because the Duffer Brothers were a huge fan of it, and they actually tried to direct the movie. So Stranger Things always has lots of like ties to it. So it looks like there's.
They tried to direct the movie. I just pictured them like on set, like, hey guys, hey, don't stand that way. You know me from Stranger Things. You'll listen to me.
Well, here's a funny story quickly to talk about someone doing that in real life. So, Rachel, and from Blade Runner, Sean Young, the actress, she was cast.
Wait, sorry. Say that one more time.
Okay, so Sean
My
Young, the
brain
actress
can
who
only
played
think so.
Rachel in Blade Runner.
Okay.
So that same actress, she was cast as the love interest in the very, very first Batman.
Okay. Sure.
She had a horse riding accident, broke her leg, so they had to recast.
Sure.
So
Like
when-
they had to put a new cast on her leg.
go clap.
Eh,
So they had to find another actress.
Sure. Yeah.
Batman Returns, the sequel to Batman, was coming up. They were looking for Catwoman. Because she got cast as the love interest in the first movie, she thought she was kind of owed that role. So she kept trying to convince Tim Burton that she knew the perfect Catwoman. He kept saying no, yada yada. So one day she showed up to the set in a homemade Catwoman costume,
Okay.
trying to convince Tim Burton
This
that she'd
is
be
great.
Catwoman, and he locked himself in the office and security took her away. But apparently she had like a whip and she was doing all this stuff. Yeah, so it has happened, stuff like that.
Was it
So
a good costume?
there's no photos of it. It wasn't-
What?
It was in 1991. People didn't have Snapchat. They're like, look at
I
Sean
did.
Young. So that's why they're. Oh wow. Okay, where's the picture?
It's gone. It's Snapchat. It goes in 10 seconds.
So yeah, it has happened. So someone tried to be Catwoman. Maybe they tried to direct it.
Different scenario, but I like the story.
Yeah, that's,
You should have told it on the review, but no, you shouldn't.
No, another review. The
Doesn't
newscast, we got excuse to be a little
Yeah.
bit of this review. They've been like, I know the story. Yeah. Tyler, have you seen Stranger Things season 1?
Yep.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Good stuff.
Have you
I
seen
enjoyed
season
it. Good stuff.
He's seen season 3 actually.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really inconvenient.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it
Season
yet.
5 sucks.
They just like came in my house and made me watch it. I was like, yeah, I don't want this.
JJ.
Yeah. We're talking about the trailer, I imagine?
Sure.
Sweet. Sure.
And then we're actually in the
Alrighty.
middle of a season 1 review, episode
Oh.
2. What'd you think?
Wow. One of the weakest episodes, honestly. It really went uphill from there. But yeah, no, I think it's great.
Where are we?
When I first
We're in the upside
Where am
down.
What room is this?
when I first heard about Stranger Things, the season 2, I was hoping that it was just like a different storyline and just keeping the same title sort of thing. Just another spooky story that they'd release around October. But
They didn't release the first one in October.
doesn't
So.
matter. They're all in. So I'm excited for it. I love all the characters. I'm glad they're bringing back the cast, and
You love all the characters.
I was gonna
Almost
say
all of them.
something.
You love that
I don't
fucking
know.
weird old dude who's like
you know what?
a really bad villain. I don't know.
Oh god.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Matthew
There were worse.
is all. He's the worst part about
There are
that.
worse things.
It's like Winona Ryder and then him. way
No,
below.
Winona's number one.
She said that. Why'd you give her a 0 then? You said number 1. You did a 0 with your hand.
Have you ever played golf? Zero's, it's a good.
It's
This
like
is
the
a golf.
Italian, yes. That would be Italian.
Actually, want
Oh,
negative
so
numbers in golf, don't you?
what Italians
Fuck,
come
I
up and
know.
say yes?
Italians, you know.
Oh,
it's like-
yeah.
No,
It's
that would be
good.
something
I
like
haven't
taste
had
or
it.
something.
It's good. It's
They don't
number
just
one.
walk up and say yes.
Wonderful.
They go like this.
Wow.
Yes.
Every week you piss off another portion of our
Have you
fan
seen the
base.
memes? That was the memes for like 2 months
Memes
ago. That was
don't.
like,
Memes are not people.
No, you're talking about
they're
this
made by
meme, right?
people.
The salt one? Yeah.
No, there was also this too.
I actually was hoping the whole time he didn't see the salt, and he just thought it was a guy doing like the
I don't know.
yeah.
He's a really bad chef.
Weird stuff. Most of what
I'm
I've
sorry, Tyler.
Golly.
We're making this really hard for you. This is
It
your
is.
test.
Oh,
This
no.
is how you enter the
Where's that
Oh, gosh.
Golly.
Colleen. Yeah.
Alright.
It's fun. You should
You got
try
anything
it.
else? Ed?
Colleen.
Well, no, you did it wrong though, because
Okay.
you gotta
I
say
thought I
it.
got wrong.
You gotta say it like really quietly
You know what?
but really loud at the same time.
And
Colleen.
long. Just watch Iron
And you
Fist.
can't move your face either. It's
Oh.
really hard.
No.
Colleen. Yeah.
Alright.
It's tricky.
Stranger Things season 2.
Mm.
It's gonna. It's not gonna be as good as the first one.
Mm.
Okay.
I think it's something that's
Is
very
that a declaration?
difficult. Yes.
It cannot be better than the first.
No.
Off with their heads.
If it is better than the first, execute them all!
That'll be the new Hollywood story. This guy showed up on the set of season 3 with like an action to kill these kids, decapitate them.
Yeah.
You can tell when GeekVerse has hit 2 hours. So there's a fine line.
We still got the video game section of it.
Oh, fuck the video games. Execute them all!
You got anything else to add, Tyler?
Nope, it's all gonna be as good as the first. That's about it.
And then I got a quick shout out to Episodes. That ended. It was a great TV series. I was a big fan of that. Check it out.
Of what, sorry?
Episodes is a show
Oh,
where
it's called Episodes.
yeah, Matt LeBlanc plays himself. Joey from Friends, he plays himself, and it's really really well done. It's very funny.
He
Lots of
plays
humor.
Matt LeBlanc or he plays himself Joey from Friends.
What? What was the last? He plays himself as Joey from Friends.
Well, he worded
so
that,
he
I
should be
was
playing
trying-
Joey. No, he plays himself as Matt LeBlanc.
But you threw in Joey in there.
I said the guy who plays
It's
Joey.
like a
What the hell is on Joey's head?
No, it's like it's not even a mockumentary. It's just like him. It's a regular show, but he's playing him as a heightened version of himself.
Anyway, it was good.
It's very good. It just ended 5 seasons. If you like dry humor, if you like
seasons.
Office, like Britain style, check it out.
We'll just keep going.
Britain
Just
style,
keep going,
yeah.
Just keep going. No, just keep going. Keep going.
The Babysitter. It's on Netflix. It's really good. I may be dropping a solo review for it tomorrow. I haven't decided. I'm a new father. I'm very
I'm a
busy.
fan of The Sitter, the Jonah Hill film.
I know you used to have a poster of it.
What's Babysitter?
It's on Netflix. It just dropped today on Friday
Okay.
13th. It is about the quick synopsis is this guy, I don't know, he's younger. He's just getting his license. There's a reason for that. But he has a babysitter. Of course, he has the hots for her. She's very attractive, very good looking, very has a big personality, personable. What
Big.
person?
Really big.
Fuck. She's very personable.
Very
She's watching him for the weekend while his parents are away. He comes down to just go see something, and she's a bunch of friends over, and they are performing like they murdered someone in their
Oh,
cult.
I thought you were gonna say an orgy, but
There's
That
jokes
sounds
about
very
that.
different.
There's
Yeah,
jokes
too.
about that.
That
So.
sounds very interesting.
So watch the trailer on Netflix. I liked it a lot. The spoiler from review. I think I'll do a quick review. Probably only be like 15, 20 minutes. But it's good. It's a fun, like, little raunchy horror movie. It gets a little immature at times, but it reminds me of like kind of this is the end humor, that vein of like
Apatowian.
yeah, kind of like, and like I use this name because it will like have like aliens and horror aspects to it sometimes. So it's kind of like that. Cast is good. Other thing, I just finished 2 episodes. I might do a solo review of this as well. Mindhunter is out. I've been looking very, very
I
forward
saw
to
that
this.
on there too.
Yeah, it's David Fincher. He did Fight Club. He did Seven. He did Zodiac. He did.
The
Curious
synopsis
Case
on
of Benjamin.
Netflix is not good.
I don't think you'll like it. It's very dense. It's just very, very talkative. If you like Mad
I'm a very
Men-
shallow person, if you didn't know.
Yeah, he needs like just butt and fart jokes.
Button?
Wait,
butt and fart
what's
jokes.
the name of this?
Mindhunter. So it's 10 episodes. Mindhunter. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
mind.
Mind with
Like,
a D. Yeah.
you're not
So
pronouncing
Mined.
It's like
Mind.
Minesweeper.
I was
but
gonna
instead
say,
it's
I thought it was like
Mindhunter.
Minesweeper,
No.
Mindhunter. It's like a cool sequel.
New video game movie.
Hunter. So yeah,
Okay.
it's good. It's about it's based off realism of the FBI, like actually finding out what a serial killer is and coming to that term. So they're trying to figure out like there's a new version of way people are killing. Like they're killing without a motive. They're killing like this. So it's kind of like the origin of a serial killer. And there's not a lot of action. It's very talkative. It's much like Zodiac. And I'd say, what's something else he did? Girl Dragon Tattoo. His American version is very much like that. I love Fincher, so I'm liking it. The first episode was a little slow, but it's picked up, so I quite like it. So yeah,
Sweet.
that is all the movie and TV news I have.
That was fast forward mode.
Yes.
Times 2.
Yeah, well, it's just some shout-outs.
Numbers.
Look out for some possible solo reviews, you know. Anything else on that front?
Negative.
Yes, sir.
We are jumping into video game news, so if you don't like the video game, this section's not for you. It's past 2 hours. If you don't like video games, not for you. Thank you very much. We'll be back with another newscast next week. Check out all our great content around the world. We're getting into video games. Who wants to start with some news?
This isn't really news, but I have been playing Metroid Samus Returns.
Oh, yeah.
And it is pretty fun. Going very slowly, as with Dishonored, just because I have very little free time for video games. But
When's
I
that
was-
Dishonored review coming?
whenever I finish the damn game, which will probably take me another month, honestly, with how much I get to play these days.
Look out, fans.
But yeah, the new Metroid game, I mean, it's not, I guess it's like a remake of an older one, but it's, I don't know, it's pretty classic Metroid, the classic Metroidvania genre, you know, it's pretty fun. I'm only like 3 or 4 hours into it, but, you know, if you like Metroid, it is the game for you.
Right on.
Anything else? No. Any news?
Nope.
So it's
No
Tyler,
news.
Taylor, and then
What do you got, Taylor? Assassin's Creed?
Yeah.
Nice.
I got a couple things. You know, I'll start with Assassin's Creed. So
You don't want to fight Anubis, do you?
you got Anubis. You called
Done
me
it
out
before,
on
I'll
that.
do it again.
You're
Yeah.
fighting Anubis?
I've
You,
killed
they have a
Anubis
thing called
over
Trial of
100
the
Probably a
Gods.
timeline here.
Well,
this
this
is
is
just
just
your
their-
fucking visual aids tonight. If you
Well-
can't get your news across through your speech, come on. What's
This
We're
going
doing a
on?
podcast.
This pulls me.
Yeah.
This pulls me into the world of Assassin's Creed.
But you
here.
gotta pull the
I
listeners.
feel like
That
Anubis
And I'm going
That
to.
shows it's not that good if it doesn't stick with you. Then you can't visualize it.
It does, but I wanted to look at Anubis
Gotta
as a
flash your
Just for
vocal
this,
cords.
I'm not gonna buy Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
yeah,
So-
you had other reasons.
No.
You were never gonna buy it.
So
I was
like,
always gonna buy it.
from what I can see of Trial of the Gods, like you get to face off against Anubis. It's like a glitch in the Animus, and you literally it's really for
Or is it a glitch in the game that they're just
glitch in
covering
the game.
for?
Yeah, like you get to at the same time you get to fight his army as you're engaging him, and then they add like tons of other mythological creatures that you're fighting, not during against him, but
Right.
like you're facing off against giant scorpions. We got to see the giant snake in the trailer originally.
Doesn't sound like an Assassin's Creed
Scorpions?
game.
this
Snakes.
is
And Anubis
This
are
is-
all things you can fight in Spelunky. In Spelunky, you can fight Anubis too. In fact,
two.
there's
Anubis
two.
two.
There's two of them. There's Anubis.
Is
and
he
there's
called
Anubis
Anubis
too.
too?
He's called Anubis too.
Wow.
Like not version 2, just like 2.
Anubis too. And there's also snakes. There's also scorpions. Go play Spelunky, one of the greatest games of all
There you
time.
go play it. I'm looking forward to this because, you know, like, Assassin's Creed always does amazing spin-off DLCs. And this is cool. It's all free, too. The free,
Damn it!
the free DLC aspect, I think that they're turning that around. I think that's great, and it's...
I like that they're not taking the Halo Wars approach to DLC.
Exactly, that Halo Wars will be my next topic here. But, I mean, like, they got all this other cool
Transitions.
stuff, like Curse of the Pharaohs.
Actually, Sir Hannibal.
Curse of the Pharaohs, the hidden ones, like they're gonna hint in more DLC of like him recruiting other assassins. Like it's just so cool to see this larger.
Yeah, I just hate when games announce DLC for a game that's not out yet. You know.
That's free.
Yeah. I guess that's cool.
That's not bad.
How free is it though? That's the big
Do
question.
you still have to
That
buy
is
the
true.
game to get it?
Still takes my time.
You do.
Time is money.
You
Taylor.
do.
Yeah,
They
you
have a cool feature called like it's like a snapshot mode, so you can like position like your character in
No, you didn't just say that, did you?
for Assassin's Creed. For Assassin's Creed. I know this isn't something that has been introduced.
Because that hasn't been done by every AAA game in the last 7 years.
I've never done that in my video games before.
Well, no one has. It's fucking boring.
For me,
I
though,
don't put Horizon Zero Dawn for the fucking snaps.
for me though, to play Assassin's Creed being heavily based on like its visuals and its graphics and where you are in the world, I think it's very cool to position your character with sinew on your arm, and you see the pyramids or the River Nile or something like that, and you can take a screenshot of that or whatever. I think it's very cool because I mean I would love to make some new wallpapers for my phone or my computer.
Oh
I'm
no!
not even kidding.
It doesn't surprise me that you would do that, but I've never done that.
I just picture Taylor
Google
in his
other
living
people.
room, like trying to do the same pose in his cosplay while he's on like the thing. Like he'll take the picture and he'll try to like reenact it. And
I need someone to hold the camera for me. If any of you guys want to,
Ruben's
sometime.
there for you.
Ruban.
It's too far away. But you mentioned it, so so check out end of the month, the weekend of the 28th, 29th. There's gonna be a lot of Assassin's Creed stuff coming your way.
Nope, it's all been canceled.
It's all done. Brushed under the
Shit. So yeah, you mentioned it, Halo Wars. I've been playing a ton of the I beat the Awakening campaign a while ago. It was fantastic, but I was branching out into the other game modes like Firefight they introduced for Halo Wars 2, which is and I wasn't sure really what I was in for that, but it blew my mind actually. Like it was absolutely fantastic.
Blew your mind.
It blew my mind.
Is it same thing as like Firefight ODST and whatnot?
Like
A wave-based sort of
it's
horde mode?
wave-based, like with bonus waves and everything, but I mean you have like the Forerunner tech, you have the Banished, you have humans, and then you have the Flood, all in different waves coming at you, and it's cool being able to fortify. Like you upgrade your base like you would in a typical Halo Wars game, but then you can place turrets around. They come through specific routes that you can build fortifications like walls and barriers. It can be done up to two other people, so you can work. If it's just two of you, then it blocks off a certain part of the map because there's no third person. But if there's all three of you, you protect your spire, and then as the Flood or the enemy just keeps pushing forward, their goal is to destroy the spire, and you got to keep it protected there and. It's just so much fun. Like I was playing it earlier today, and we got to wave like 51, and it's just you can keep going and going and going, and not in a repetitive way, but in a way like okay, I can keep getting these upgrades and keep fortifying. Like they're sending in their air units. I gotta counter that. I gotta work with my team. It's just it blows my mind how they were able to take Halo Wars. Like take the best of it and then just twist it around into like a classic game mode that we got before and just add a whole new perspective on Halo Wars.
Cool. And is that like in the DLC or something?
That was in the Awakening, the Flood DLC.
You just got around to it. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Then moving on from that, you can join in on this Battlefront beta.
Nope. No. Yeah. What about it?
Well, what did you think going into it?
We'll save the loot boxes for after because we got a whole thing about that. I liked it a lot, surprisingly. I guess I could start with the actual classes first. That did surprise me as far as like with specialists and heavy and all that. It did feel different playing with all of them, like in a way that Battlefront didn't the first game. It's very basic. You're just like, you got different weapons, but you're just these stormtroopers you go. It did feel like they all had a different play style. Their abilities were good, whether it was different grenades or different attacks or different like tactical weapons. So that was really good. The heroes are a lot of fun to play with. That was one of my biggest disappointments with the first Battlefront is you got them. I felt like they died pretty quick. You couldn't do that much. They felt really like riggedy and really like, I don't know, like they just did not feel that fun to play with where the original Battlefront games, they were fun, especially in like hero versus villain mode. So anytime I could get a hero, I was loving it. I like the way of getting heroes better than just like it dropping randomly and you getting it. It's tough because if your team's not doing that well, there's a chance you won't get to play as it. But if you're on a roll, like in the in Galactic Assault, like I was like whenever you were the clones and you just had to shoot up the AIT or whatever it was, you get so many points. So if you're doing really well. I was employed more to do the objectives because that means, okay, I can get a ship, I can be a hero, instead of just killing people. So I felt it made the objectives make me want to do them more. The game style's a lot more fluid. The specialists and all those classes were great. I actually did play a couple rounds of the air battle because they even said, like, that's not really my thing, like the space battles, everything like that. The ships are a lot better as far as controlling wise. It was actually fun. Everything, and I liked Battlefront. I never got the complaints because they said right out, this is what we're doing. I liked it for what it was. This, I think I will be getting. I don't know if I'm getting day one. I'm so close. I decided not to get Shadow of War, so now my slot is open. I said I'm just getting one for fall because I have a few old games I'm still trying to finish. So I'm gonna get one. I think that might be it because I plugged in a couple times and played it. Darth Maul is hella fun, and yeah, it's great. I can't wait to play like the actual heroes v villain modes. And I guess I keep forgetting because I liked all that stuff already, but the campaign, we haven't got to play it, but that's just another cherry on top. So maybe Taylor's want me to buy it because Taylor's making this big stink that he won't stream the game if he has to move his Xbox.
It's like an OCD thing on my Xbox. Like just unplug all those cords, move it around. It's been like that ever since I was little. It's weird.
Or it's because Xboxes traditionally, if you move them around, you gotta be fucking careful.
There's that.
Breaks the laser.
That's true too.
They're shit consoles. That's why you just take
If you have a disc inside and you move it, it will probably have broken.
Yeah.
Is it different from the Xbox One? Probably, but with the Xbox 360, you gotta be careful with that guy.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, a lot of what you said about the beta, it's true. Like I reached like the max level you can get, which is only like 10. I did all the challenges. I'm just saying, like I played.
Oh, well, I actually reached level 20, so I don't know what you're doing.
I'm actually ranked 1 in the world in the beta.
I'm ranked 1 in the universe.
Really? Very cool.
Wow.
I couldn't stop playing the beta while it lasted. I'm so glad they extended it when they did by a couple days. It was just it was so much fun. And I started through each generation, like playing Galactic Assault, the clones, it was just fantastic. One thing I will shout out the fact that they used the the TV show The Clone Wars Clone Troopers voice as the Clone Troopers, and then they actually got the original guys playing Boba Fett's voice, which is kind of weird because there's technically clones.
You mean the original guy playing Jango voice?
Yes.
Yeah, because the Boba Fett voice actor's dead.
Yeah, no, I meant the Jango dude.
Unless
yeah.
Lucasfilm literally has the power to raise people back from the dead just to record Star Wars.
They can use the CGI to like, enhance that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like choosing the classes, specialists and officers, my favorite classes. Absolutely love them. I think like it's just so much fun being able to customize and like craft and modify your weapons. And then the space assault just absolutely felt like a totally redone improvement of what they should have been in the first game. I absolutely love it, and this is the most fun I've had having dogfights in space with any kind of space game in a long time. It's everything I've wanted like a space game to be with X-Wings and everything, and to be Star Wars themed. The classes in space, interceptors, fighters, bombers, absolutely fantastic, and just being able to have it on such a larger scale, like when you're going in on Fondor as the X-Wings, and you have the defense turret platforms, you have all of a sudden the frigates coming in to give you support, or you're taking the frigates down, you have your bombers coming in, like, it's just, there's so much going on, there's so much turbo laser towers on the Star Destroyers, on the shields, you can go through, like, you can go through like trench runs, like there's so much going on. It is so much fun and chaos, and that's exactly what I like in a space battle. I want to feel like I'm at the Battle of Endor, and I feel like I'm at the Battle of Endor and then some. Like
then some.
Oh, there's 2 Death Stars.
You can go past.
It's just, it feels absolutely great. And then like even that strike mode where you're playing as the First Order and all that, like it's so much fun. They got something for everyone. They got the campaign, they got large scale wars, they got dogfights in space, they got smaller scale, and then they have like living modes like with against the AIs.
Wait, is campaign in the beta at all?
No. But then
you have that mode where you fight against the wildlife. That's sort of Battlefront.
I don't know, because they have a mode where you can choose like your enemies and set like the difficulties and the kind of gameplay styles and stuff. So
there's modes that were locked too that we didn't get a chance to play. There's 3 in total modes we could play.
They have that beast mode, I'm gonna call it. I don't
beast
know
mode.
They have that. That's like another notch up towards me buying.
Well, they had certain kind of like scenario stuff of like they didn't have all of them unlocked, but like, oh, you play as Darth Maul and you assault on Theed. They had certain scenarios that you could try out. So maybe that's something they could incorporate at some point. I don't know.
I just remember being a Wampa.
Being a Wampa, that was so good. Being a Wampa, or being Gungans, or Ewoks. Oh, there was some good stuff.
Good times.
So yeah, Battlefront beta pretty much went off without a hitch until people all logged in, they started playing, and so I guess we can end the podcast on this conversation about.
Well, I still have another game news.
Oh no. Too late.
What is your game news?
Well, okay. I did play the new Pokemon on the Switch.
Ooh,
yes. And it is like everything I could hope and dream it would be. Playing as a new Pokemon character.
But you don't own a Switch.
No, my friend, he brings a Switch to Bed Bath & Beyond, and on our breaks we play Mario Kart. No, Ruban.
Well, he's gonna feel fun.
We play it on our 15.5-hour lunch breaks together. So it's playing Mario Kart and Pokemon on the little
That's why he
screen.
didn't watch the trailers today.
It's yeah.
Because he was playing fucking Pokemon for the 100th time.
No, not today. But
favorite new character.
Favorite new character? Oh.
What did I do?
I mean, Empoleon is really, really good. I'm drawing a blank. Why can't I remember what the owl's name is?
Is it really your favorite character?
Hooter.
Hooter.
Yeah.
Hooter, yes.
Is it Dylan? Okay.
Blathers.
Blather. Okay, we'll call him Blathers. Yeah, I should be ashamed that I don't remember his name, but it's drawing a blank. Blathers. He's so much fun.
Yeah.
But
nothing better than a great character. You just can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. Caesar is not
that's
too
that guy
bad.
with the cowl. He has these ears like a bat. I don't know. He's a cape.
Cape Man.
Empoleon is really good. Darkrai is as a character. I don't know. He's definitely could have sat this one out. I'm just excited to see more characters make their appearance in this game. Like I'm playing it on the Switch too. Like having
a
like
tiny little screen.
being
Scrunched up
split screen.
fingers.
Like it was neat how they did it because like Pokemon on the Wii U, it was like one person gets the gamepad, the other person gets the.
Why are you
the
both
TV.
getting the Pro controller?
It doesn't work on the Wii U for Pokemon. They
It
just
just doesn't work.
they
They
didn't.
didn't
No, I
work.
tried. They just didn't do it. I
They're
tried.
trying
They
to
just
sell that
didn't do
gamepad.
it.
That's fine.
But I
You
mean,
couldn't buy the gamepads. Oh, you just mean like use it.
That's the whole console.
have you guys held like the Switch controller like and played?
Yeah, I stole it from this old lady on the
'Cause
sidewalk.
I honestly.
Yeah, I was surprised that how it actually.
I was
really
surprised too. It was actually really really good. But yeah,
Good.
so
Almost too good.
almost too good.
Like it really feels like you're milking a cow.
You're milking a cow. Or
I'm
shaking-
really drinking water right now.
You're shaking the ice
Ecstatic.
in the cup. I definitely feel like like when I get that Switch, like this is obviously a day one purchase for me. Definitely, it's the upgrade I
Get
want.
that Switch.
And
in
today,
4 years.
Today was their first
Dust
update
it off.
too. They cleaned up a lot of bugs for the game and patched it up a little bit. So there's a lot of good stuff coming your way for all those Pokemon fans. I feel like this is definitely, as opposed to the Wii U one, there's a larger fan base for the Pokemon on the Switch.
We'll see. I doubt it's gonna chart really high. I don't think it'll be top 5. So
I'll have to look what was
it's
better
not
between like the Wii U version and the Switch version.
the Switch. When did the Switch version come out?
I can't remember.
Did it come out this month?
1st of October. Like I would give it some
Yeah,
time.
so
I'm
we
gonna
don't
check
have
as well because I feel like you might Photoshop it and put it in. Like,
We
top
don't-
That's what Wikipedia is for.
We don't have the.
That's what Wikipedia is for.
They won't have the sales number until November. When it takes a whole month.
I'll be waiting. I'll be hitting the
You care that
refresh
much,
button.
really?
F5.
I hope it sales negative and they're like, oh, we really lost.
Sales
them.
negative?
Yeah. People start returning and then I guess we'll accept
They
it.
return more quantities than they even sold. Where are these copies coming from?
Oh boy. Okay, now let's talk about loot boxes and microtransactions. So you guys touched upon it a little bit a few weeks ago when originally was Shadow of War.
Yes,
And we
talked
talked.
burgers.
Yeah, and you guys talked about being in a single campaign, how it might affect it. So obviously, it affects the whole game, but it was a little update because the game came out this week. So they say there's I think there's 4 parts or 4 chapters. So at the end of chapter 3, to get the true ending, you got to play for quite a while and do all these side quests. People say it's really grindy. So people
For Shadow of War, is this?
Shadow of War, yeah. So people say that it feels that you're
Is the game out now?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Oh, good.
People say that it feels like you're almost encouraged to go get the microtransaction and loot boxes
Sure.
because if you don't it's not even like a secret ending.
Yeah.
It's the actual ending of the game. You got to do all this grinding stuff and whatnot. This was a controversy a couple weeks ago with NBA 2K. They did stuff like in your creator character or whatever, you can get certain coinage for stuff like in-game currency, but if you went to loot boxes and microtransactions, you could go and get players' hair and attributes, something that was always you could just do, or unlock in a different way. And then it hit a big this week with Battlefront because there was no word about this being in Battlefront, I think, until the beta happened. Because when the beta happened, it was like boom, boom, boom. So what last time Battlefront happened was, let's say gun number 2 costs 5,000 points. And every time you kill or win a match, you'll get your points, then you can go and purchase that gun. Mm-hmm. What you do is you get daily crates, or you can purchase crates with in-game money or microtransactions, and people are accusing it of being like a play to win because if I just play by myself, Taylor could just spend like $100 or $50 to get obviously it's still random, so it's not like it was before where you know what you're getting, but he can get better stuff, better gear, whatnot. So what now, because Shadow of War sounded like it was kind of started, but now there's been many other games. There's rumors that I am not fully into, but there's rumors Call of Duty's going to have some coming up as well. So what is your feeling about microtransactions and like loot boxes in general? And if there's a way it can even be done right, or is this just an issue that people always hate or whatnot? Or?
I mean, it's not inherently a bad thing. It's not inherently evil. Just with its essence, it's like Overwatch I think is a really popular game that did it. And people like it. It's just a way that progression systems have evolved, right? Because before it was you unlock this weapon at level 50, so you would play and you know exactly when you're going to get that weapon. You could play for that. You'd level up to get to that point. Whereas now, and I mean it's different in some cases because it's just like for cosmetic things like Overwatch, it's strictly cosmetic things.
Yeah. Destiny 2 had that a lot, apparently, like shaders and stuff like that.
So it's different, but for me it's not as satisfying because you're not really working towards something. You're just playing and then you're hoping. It's like it's just a luck factor, but it's like it feels like cosmically like out of your control, really. Like if you want something, and so it kind of. It entices you to buy loot boxes, and then the way they can get away with it is, but it's just for cosmetic stuff, so it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't affect gameplay at all. You're not going to have a difference. But obviously, that's a factor of the game that people like. People want their character to look a certain way, and I don't know. I don't like it, but I don't think it's. We talked about it obviously on that other newscast, and I have a big problem with it for single player games that are like for only single player games and using loot boxes to unlock things. Just because I think it's also just lazier. I think randomness in games can be to the benefit of the game, and it really can prolong how long you can play the game. Like obviously Spelunky and Binding of Isaac, these are games that they're the main essence of the game is like the randomness of it, and that makes it playable for long periods of time. But I think if you're working towards something and you're trying to accomplish a goal, and that's hindered by the fact that you have to keep getting these loot boxes by just doing random ass quests that you don't want to do, but you're doing it so you can get more loot boxes to maybe get the item that you need or the unlock that you need for your character, and then but you can also spend $50 and you don't even really get the thing, but you have a higher chance of getting it now. You're just going to speed the process along. It's a catalyst. And I don't know, I don't like it inherently, obviously. I think it has its place in multiplayer games for cosmetic stuff, but I still don't really like it there. Obviously, Overwatch has I think it's actually really stupid in Overwatch because you obviously get coins and stuff and you can use those to buy the skins you want, but the coins are also part of loot boxes. So you'll get a few coins if you get a duplicate, but it's really nothing. It's fucking pennies on the floor, and they're not even a legal tender anymore. But every once in a while you get a 500 coin bonus, and that's not even satisfying. It's just oh cool, I got coins so I can actually get something I want. I don't know. I really don't like loot boxes.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
Yeah. I'm on a very similar page, Dylan. I think they are a very lazy representation of what progression systems are. And for example, I love Respawn, and I don't think they have anything in Titanfall 2. I haven't played in years, I feel like, but they have a very solid progression system where at lower levels you have very basic classes and guns you can use, and the guns are the game's balanced in that the guns aren't underpowered compared to the other ones, but as you play you can unlock more different kind of play styles, and it kind of goes through, which in a way can be criticized because you have to play more to get different weapons and whatnot. But as it works, you level up and unlock this stuff fairly quickly, and then the kind of for them kind of what they keeps you playing is you can do what's the generation thing, regen. Is that what it's called?
What are you talking about?
Prestige. That's the system. You can kind of prestige, and then it resets, and then you have to play with all the basic guns again and level up. And I feel like loot boxes are kind of the evolution of that in a way. But instead of knowing what you're getting and when you're getting it, it's just like all in one big mess, and then you just like stick your hand into the pile, pull something out, and you're like, I didn't want this.
Yeah.
But then you also have, but then there's like, but you have the option to pay, and then now people are obviously going to pay because they're impatient. So it's just kind of a way that the industry is trying to get more money.
Yeah,
out
I
of
mean,
their games for less work.
In the sense of like Overwatch, like the thing you want is like the cool skins or like the emote or something, but half the time you'll just get like a stupid profile icon. Like I don't give a shit.
I still think it's a bad habit for even cosmetic onlys and multiplayer games, because a lot of the reason why people want those cosmetics is they have like special ones for different events, and they're obviously rarer, and people want to display how much time and effort they put into these games by saying, hey, look at me, I have this really cool skin that kind of like a limited time thing.
Yeah.
Obviously I like it looks cool, and people can respect you for it because they're just like, oh, this person's put a lot of time in the game, they must be like really passionate about it to get the skin.
Yeah.
But then it takes away from that and being like, oh, during the event just spend $50 on loot boxes. This person maybe put like 50 hours into the game and they have all these cool skins. So it kind of takes away from the value of what the skins mean to people who don't pay for it. And I think in that way it takes away a lot of the just what things you earn through progression in games. It's a very lazy way for people to get cool things, and it really just, the fact that you can spend money on it and it's random just takes away from the value of it. Because I remember in games where you unlock things by playing a certain amount of hours or winning a certain number of games and reaching a certain milestone, like reaching level 100 or something. And it really, and then you'd see people in the game with those skins or items and stuff that you earn at those points, and it's like, wow, that guy like really put a lot of time into that. Yeah. I want to get that too. And
I think there's nothing wrong with the way Call of Duty always did it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You unlock new weapons and perks or whatever as you level up, and you can prestige to get like more custom slots. But I felt like it was always balanced, even though the guy was higher level.
Yeah, and in a way, just because what's nice about that is you get the first time you get to the highest level, it doesn't take a very long time to get there. So you're not really at a huge disadvantage, even if you're just starting with the basic stuff, and then you have to work towards get the better stuff. And then I think it's even cool how they give you the option to reset, and then you're like, oh, okay, so I'm really good and I have all this good stuff. Let's see how well I can do with all the basic stuff again and try and work my way back up. And it's a really great progression mechanism that a lot of games did successfully, and it makes you feel good about what you're earning. And then with loot boxes, just the fact that it's all random and anyone can get anything, it's not completely independent of how much time and effort they put into the game. It really takes away from it. So I think it just takes away from what gaming is to me personally as a whole. And I don't think it has a place in the industry, but obviously they still need to make money in their businesses, and this is a very easy, lazy way for them to make money. So they're going to do it as long as people are buying. Sucks, but yeah, I don't like it.
Now tell me anything, because I saw a Facebook comment on about under some Star Wars Battlefront post of you maybe defending it. I'm not sure. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to hear.
I was trying to instigate some heated debates online.
That was
your purpose?
About the loot boxes, my best example of playing a game where it's just all about, achievements and unlocking things with level progression is RuneScape. I think, it's centered around that. For the longest time, there was no microtransactions in that of any kind, and for me, it was a really rewarding feeling in that, and in most video games at the time, playing it, unlocking things at certain levels, and it felt great. That was what a progression system was, and it felt like you were like achieving things in these games. You could show it off, like you said. It felt fantastic. Now, games like nowadays, like I feel like with Overwatch or like Battlefront, like there's free DLC, but it's evolved into the sense like, we won't charge you for the DLC, we're going to charge you to progress easily now in video games. I don't like that it's being used in that sense. Overwatch doesn't do that. As you said, you made a lot of good points. It is a bit cheesy with some things, but at least it's not giving people an advantage over other players with weapons or anything. Yep. Now, with Battlefront, yes, there is that possibility that it's doing that. One thing that I really hate in comparison, I'm going to bring Gears of War 4 into play here. Gears of War 4, the only, like, you can get so many different kind of skins and all these other things out of loot boxes, but at the end of the day, it is such a, I hate it so much that they put it in there because it's so unfair. It's a grind to even save up enough points to unlock a loot box, or you could just dump an expensive amount of money on, like, to buy a loot box outright, and you don't even get good things at the end of the day, and it's so pathetic. That's my hugest peeve with that game. With Battlefront 2, when I played a huge portion of the beta, I had enough points saved up to buy a bunch of loot boxes at the store. I felt like it was a very balanced amount. And with people freaking out saying, yes, they can put up the case that, oh, if people are getting loot boxes and can buy them to get these upgrades to their guns or whatever, it gives them the advantage over their players. Yes, that's true. But when I'm playing in space, I can take off all the perks off of my starfighter if I want, and I know that I'm still confident enough in my abilities to compete with these people that still have perks on their ships. I know on the ground I can play with just the basic perks and star cards. I know I'm still capable of playing well enough to compete with these other people that have boosted themselves. For me, I see it really coming down, in a case like Battlefront, it comes down to how well you play and your skill. Not like you could have an idiot who just gets online like, oh, here's my mom's Visa, $100 of loot boxes, and they
Don't talk about Kirk on He's not here to defend himself.
So they buy all these loot boxes and then they get all these upgrades and everything cool. They deck their character out. They got the guns. They go online, and chances are they could suck. They could get schooled. If they know how to use it, then great. They managed to be the lucky ones that had like a 40% chance of actually getting like 3 good things out of 100 loot boxes or something like that, and they can apply it to their gameplay, which is fantastic. Sure, whatever. But then if you're going to throw that into a single player game, absolutely not. That is ridiculous. I think it is so low and so lazy, and I think that you should be ashamed of yourself to throw that into a single player game. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
That is so cheesy and so money hungry. Shadow of War is a fantastic game. I really want to play.
Have you played Shadow of War?
I meant the first one. The first one, Shadow of Mordor. It's a fantastic game. I think it's awesome. And to hold back a main piece of content that could be achieved faster by doing microtransactions, specifically probably by a rare chance too, I'm assuming, like, it's just, that is just so pathetic and so low.
At that point, you're just capitalizing on people's negative tendencies.
Well, yeah, it's like gambling.
Yeah, 100%. And they could have just made the game more enjoyable for people to not spend money on.
Yeah.
But they chose to specifically make it more worthwhile for people to spend money on it.
Yeah.
The
E
ESRB gaming rating system says they don't consider gambling. They consider it like collectible cards.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what they
I mean,
say.
that's the thing. You kind of have to. You can put your own descriptions on it if you want, but the way I see it is, it's like your enjoyment level of the game is kind of determined by these things in a certain way. And this is like the biggest problem with card games. They've been doing this forever. You buy a pack, you have no fucking clue what's inside. You might get garbage that you already have. You might get something cool, but that's why those can be a problem. That's why they can lose a lot of like the fun factor, because if you don't keep buying more and more, you're gonna get bored with the game and you're gonna move on to other stuff. And that's why, boom, they release a new expansion or they release new skins so you can play the game again and try to unlock some more stuff. But it's just, I don't know. You kind of have to draw the fine line between like a money pit and it being worth it and like whatnot. And
well, I mean, I know I'm guilty myself. Like, I've spent money. Like, Call of Duty's been doing it for a while with their past few games. I bought loot boxes on Call of Duty just because, you know, it's fun. I'm not gonna dump a serious amount of money into it, but at the same time, Call of Duty allowed you to easily earn those loot boxes the same as you would to buy them.
Why are you fighting with your mom?
I used to. I don't anymore. She's shaking my head. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, you know, in Battlefront, that's their new thing they're gonna throw in
murder
Skyrim. Todd, how we have your facial expression on.
Okay, second. Kyle's below me. But next to that, I've not had rare, but like today once I was on, I played probably because it was a lot more rare than it is now. Before this is the thing I say about the wars, you know, it's better just to play and this and that. Like, show, it's really easy. Just don't do that. Because I first was like, okay, the E3 demo, but it's just something that I just knew from my wallet of honestly what I'll do. People say, well, that are a bit more angry, don't think it's from numbers. So I think the loot boxes really hurt them. I disagree that it can't be in a single game. I think you just have to be really picky and choosy how you use it. It's the same way DLC way back in the day. It used to got a lot of hatred, a lot of crap for it, and then people learned to like, okay, this is how we do it. If it was, hey, the game end and there's a secret post end credit scene or something, or you unlock a new power or a new weapon, but you got to do all this grinding to get the loot boxes. Fine, you can do that to try and implore people to buy it. For me, it was, okay, we're locking the whole ending of the game away, just the actual ending of the story. And that's where it's like, yeah, that does feel like you're trying to handcuff people into getting it, but I think people are just going to revolt and just not get the game, or, you know, like, do what I do. So there's that. With Battlefront, same thing. I do get people's perspective of the play to win, and it is, really. It is, you're paying to get more gear. Even if it's shitty gear, you have more than me. But it never really affected me. I take the same stance as Taylor, as at one point I had like an 8-kill streak. I'm sure they had a lot more things than me. I didn't use a single player card on anything. And I used the crates because you get one daily, which was cool. I didn't use them on anything because I was just there for the experience of it, you know? So I think it all depends on what you play, and if you do not like these, don't use them. Don't buy them. Don't do anything like that. Even if you're like, oh, I'd like to buy one just to see, don't, because they get that money. And you can't blame them. They're trying to make business. Games are more expensive than they ever have been nowadays, you know? At the end of the day, they need money. They're trying to make money. So I'm interested to see what happens in the future, how much this changes, even with next year. Because you look at something like Battlefront, there's a reason they didn't come out and be like, oh, we got loot boxes and this and that. Like, it came out and be like, oh, what's this? Like, it's kind of a dirty word right now. So I'm interested in seeing a year, and that's what I'll ask you guys. In a year, do you think this migrates into more games and it changes, or do you think this is something that slowly starts to go away and, like, maybe not like a Battlefront, but, like, will we see this again in another, like, Shadow of War situation, like another single player, something like that, you know? Like, next Arkham game comes out, next, I don't know, what's another? Even Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed comes out.
They've been doing it for a while already.
But nothing like that where it's like, oh, the ending's locked away until you have to grind along.
I'm gonna be pissed off when I can't unlock Ness in the new next Smash game because I have to get him in a fucking loot box.
I do not want to see Nintendo experience with loot boxes.
I don't think Nintendo will. That doesn't seem like something they would do.
They better not. They say YouTube is.
I mean, it's a good financial decision.
Yeah.
They don't always necessarily do those. So
where do you see it in a year, though? That's my last question. Is do you see this as migrated and changed and adapted maybe a bit better, or do you see this something that loot box will be around?
I think it's way too easy to justify. So I think we're gonna keep seeing it.
Yeah.
I feel like these kind of like microtransaction loot boxes things. I feel like a lot of it started like on like handheld mobile games too, and I feel like that's just been really brought over on a larger scale. Probably because they saw like it's successful. Like you look at games like,
well, it's just extra money.
It's extra money, and like people spend like ridiculous amounts of money on apps like for these things, like Pokemon Go for example. I mean, I know Jessica spends like a lot of money on that. And that's a perfect example. So I mean, it only makes sense for them to incorporate it, and I feel like that's the direction they're gonna go. Like whether eventually more companies that are like, you know what, we can ease back on charging such a ridiculous price for DLC, and we can focus on these loot boxes that we know people are gonna buy. I mean, I feel like that's what Battlefront's doing.
I mean, they put in very little effort and get a huge reward.
Yeah.
So like, there's no reason for them not to do it unless people stop buying the games, straight up. But as with today's culture, people are still gonna buy the games and buy loot boxes, so it kind of sucks.
I think
money bags.
Yeah, I think for me they will be around, but I don't think as the past like 2 months, it seems like every week we have a new controversy. I said like I'm not into NBA 2K, but that's a big thing as someone that plays wrestling games. I know like create a wrestler, that would be a pain. WWE even came out, they're like, we're not doing that, that's not our deal. Like, but that would be a pain. Like you gotta just get a little extra money just for a hair or this or that. But I do think it'll be around here, but I think we're gonna see less controversies. We're going to see less articles. We're going to see less YouTube videos, even ones like ourselves discussing loot boxes so much. I think it will be a custom as far as video games, but I don't think it's going to be something... You'll get the rare case where like, oh, look at this, but I think developers are smart enough. Something like Shadow of War, if there is a third one, I don't think you'll see this again. I think this is the year where loot boxes getting mainstream, and you're going to see people thrive, and you're going to see people make mistakes, you know? Because there's been a lot of people, and you've seen it too with Battlefront, they're like, well, I'm not getting it now 100% because loot box screw that. Are they telling the truth? Who knows? People are online, they lie all the time. But there's still a negative narrative when Battlefront was having such a good time. Like I said, you take that out, I think this beta weekend's complete successful. But that's all anybody was talking about all weekend with Battlefront. It was like, oh yeah, Darth Maul's cool, but look at all the loot boxes, you know? And like, I saw countless of people be like, oh, I'm boycotting this game. So that's, I mean, I think they will, this is the next year from like this, what is it, this October to next October, I think you'll see it pretty much ironed out. And I don't think we'll be talking about as much. Yeah, it's always going to be a thing, but I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's gonna hit the games as hard as it is right now.
Yeah.
Because we have never seen this back to
Well,
back.
I think single player games got to be more careful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think my closing point is that loot boxes they just take away like control from the player, and I think that's generally a bad thing. So.
Like I said, you don't want them, don't buy them. Speak with your wallet.
Speak with the wall.
Could you imagine? It's like Melee when you're trying to collect the trophies. You could put your money into the game to get more tokens to put in the slot machine to get more trophies.
That would be fucking off the deep end. If that. Melee HD, they introduced that. Oh wow. It's easy enough to get fucking coins in that game too.
Taylor, if they want to go off the deep end with the GeekVerse, where can they find ourselves? Also, Friday 13th Double XP weekend, new map, new Jason. I haven't tried out the new Jason yet, but I'm gonna. I played a little bit. Servers on PS4 are a little shitty right now, but I'm excited for a Double XP Friday 13th weekend, new maps, new stuff.
New Jason.
Yeah.
Cool. The cleaver.
Yeah, the cleaver. There's been some
How
cool
many
kills.
different types of Jasons are there? Are they gonna bring Space
None.
Jason into the game?
They
Nice.
may. There might be
With
a
a space
rights
map?
issue. There might be a rights issue. So I think they're working
Jason
on it.
in a
But
spacesuit.
Space is copyrighted.
It's like a
by
giant
Abrams.
space
so
sword or
is
something.
there's part 2, part 3, part 4, part 6.
What happened to part
Part
5?
7. I think part 5 looks almost identical, and it's like a really bad movie, so they like to ignore it. It was an imposter Jason, it wasn't the real Jason.
Oh, no.
I think there's 6 or 7 Jasons.
There's
So
about 7
What if they
Jasons.
make a mod where it's one counselor killing like 9 different Jasons?
I'm
Oh,
sure
that'd be
is
sick.
Friday 13th on the PC.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's out there.
I'm sure there's
shit.
a thing. That'd
Yeah.
be hilarious.
Mod that shit.
I'd like to see that.
Mod it.
That would be really cool. Or change it up like Leprechaun killing the Jasons.
No, that wouldn't work.
I think a
Hyper
counselor.
portion.
Or like a leprechaun killing counselors would make sense. But
That would be cool.
counselor just killing the Jasons, that'd be fun.
That'd be a neat twist
What are
in
we talking
perspective.
I thought we were talking about the links to end the show.
The
Oh,
links.
I thought we were too. Yeah.
Legend of Zelda links. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Well, you can find us with your internet or data because we are data worthy. But you know, if you want to save that money and throw it to us because we have such great content, that's so much appreciated. Use your internet, save your data, spend the money.
Save
Patreon. But in the internet in the search bar, you gotta go into Google and in there you type in GeekVerse Space Podcast. Better yet, go to Facebook specifically, because in the Facebook search bar, you can type in GeekVerse Space Podcast again. The space bar, mind you, not actually type in space. You gotta do the space bar, it's very important. You get up on some totally random site, you wanna get on our site, it's very important. But yeah, you get on there, you're gonna find this cast, you're gonna find all the other amazing 2.5, almost 3 hour long casts. It's flipping fan
almost.
freaking fudging-tastic, let me tell you.
Man, freaking
It's a heck of a time, awesome
Colleen.
content. What else do we got?
Well, thanks for all those big links.
Big links.
We love our big links.
Money.
Go to geekfirstpodcast.com to find all our whatever the fuck we all got. We got our podcast, SoundCloud, iTunes,
We got our podcast. We got our podcast.
Yeah,
We got
video,
more podcasts.
YouTube, Twitch will be
That's all
coming
we
back.
got, I'm sorry.
Twitch will be coming back soon. Still trying to figure out the live stream there. Go to Facebook and find everything about whether it's Geek Mania, whether it's our 24-hour stream, which again, please donate. It's going towards a great cause. November 4th is our 24-hour stream at 9 p.m. Yeah, and then next week we'll be back with a newscast. Thank you very much for tuning in to all this stuff. We'll be back next Friday night. Friday night is GeekVerse night, so
Get your
make it
popcorn,
right.
Get your ladies.
And it's alright.
And it's all right. Thank you. I forgot what the whole fucking.
We are at
thing was.
least all right.
Yes.
Sometimes
minimum.
And
Actually, you're right.
and we promise you,
Like close to the minimum.
it'll not be boring.
Have we ever hit the 3 hour?
Good riddance, I say.
Many times.
Have we actually passed
Yeah.
3 hours?
We've hit it at least like
Later.
3 times.
I always felt like we got close but never actually hit it.
No, we've at least 3 times.